Chapter 741. What? Sensing Linley's confidence, her woman's sixth sense told her that the person in front of her was extremely dangerous. Just as she was about to withdraw her spiritual energy, she felt as if there was a special force binding her, making it impossible for her to move. Hua Yuan was shocked. She looked at Lin Rei with a shocked expression. She did not expect things to turn out this way. It was completely different from what she had imagined. Since you're here, do you think you can leave? Looking at the mental energy needle in front of him, he suddenly activated the devouring heaven art. With a terrifying devouring power, he raised his hand and sucked in the mental energy needle in front of him. No, don't. At this moment, she clearly felt that the energy was the most terrifying devouring power in the world. At this moment, she was afraid. She was really afraid. Unfortunately, it was all too late. Lin Rei did not care about Hua Yuan's pleas for mercy. His face was cold, and his lips curled into a bloodthirsty smile. Suddenly, the devouring heaven art was fully activated, and a tyrannical devouring power was released. The next moment, the mental energy that Hua Yuan used to attack him was completely devoured by Lin Rei's devouring power. It was converted into pure mental energy, replenishing Lin Rei. Sensing that his spiritual energy had suddenly increased, a hint of a smile appeared on Linley's face. He really hoped that he could do this a few more times. That way, his mental energy would increase again, and he would not have to worry about breaking through to the saint level. But at the same time, he knew that it was impossible. After the first time, who would dare to be tricked a second time? Sure enough, just as Lin Rei thought of this, Hua Yuan said, "No more, no more. If I go down again, all my mental energy will be devoured by you." After saying that, Hua Yuan spread out her hands and stepped aside helplessly. She did not speak anymore. Seeing this, Lin Rei could not help but sigh, "Ai. Forget it, I still wanted to devour more. Since you don't want to give it to me, then forget it." Even though Lin Rei spoke softly, how could Hua Yuan, a grand perfection god emperor, not hear him? Hearing Lin Rei's words, Hua Yuan wanted to give him a good beating. At this moment, Linley no longer paid any attention to Hua Yuan. Instead, he went to Lu Yu's side and asked, "Come, give me the prize for the champion." "All right, please wait a moment." Upon seeing that Lin Rei had won, Lu Yu casually took out a ring and handed it to Lin Rei. "Senior, this is yours," he said fawningly. Without looking at him, she took the ring and nodded. Then, she walked over to Hua Yuan's side. Even though she had received the prize of the alchemy conference, she had yet to receive her prize. At that moment, when Chu Xi saw Lin Rei's actions, she took a step forward and stood behind him. She stood there respectfully and did not say a word. At that moment, seeing that the alchemy conference had come to a dramatic end, Lu Yu smiled bitterly and said regretfully, "This alchemy conference has come to a successful end. After 100 years, the alchemy conference will be held again. I hope that everyone will participate enthusiastically." After saying that, Lu Yu did not stay any longer. He directly left and walked towards the depths of the alchemy guild. Everyone present did not move, except for Lu Yu. As for them, they wanted to curry favor with Lin Rei, Hua Yuan, and Chu Xi. After all, their alchemy realms were still there. Of course, Chu Xi did not count. However, because he was Lin Rei's follower and could concoct pills with 5 patterns, they would not let go of this opportunity. At that moment, looking at Hua Yuan, Lin Rei was full of questions. Seeing that the people around him had no intention of leaving, Lin Rei waved his hand and an honorable realm array appeared instantly, enveloping Lin Rei and Hua Yuan. However, Lin Rei did not want to know. Because the array that he casually set up caused an uproar and discussion among the people present. Damn, what an all-round genius. Concocting pills, refining weapons, and now a magic array. How can we live? Boo-hoo. That's right. How can we live like this? This kind of person is the evilest of evilest, the most abnormal of all. Sigh. Who said otherwise? What does it mean to be the darling of heaven and earth? That is. At that moment, Chu Ci, who was standing in the magic array, heard the discussions of the people. Suddenly, Chu Ci could not help but raise his chin with a proud expression on his face. It was as if the people were talking about him. At that moment, Zhuge Hochao had seen the whole process. At that moment, he was deeply convinced that Lin Rei was not bluffing when he said that he could concoct supreme divine artifacts. He really knew how to concoct supreme divine artifacts. In the next moment, Zhuge Hochao could not help but feel excited. When he thought that he would soon have a supreme divine artifact, he did not know what to do. At that moment, in the magic array, Lin Rei looked at Hua Yuan and smiled. He said, "Tell me, why are you in the lower realm? How did you come here? What are your intentions in coming to this alchemy conference? Why did you stop? At that moment, hearing Lin Rei's questions, Hua Yuan looked as if she had lost to him and said, "Don't ask anymore. I will not tell you everything." Since she had lost, she had to accept it. After all, this was what she had always believed in since she was young. Seeing how straightforward she was, Lin Rei was naturally happy. At least he did not have to ask her one by one. "My name is Hua Yuan. I come from the barren plain of the Holy World. The barren plain has a sect and a top-notch clan. This clan is our Hua clan. You should know all this, right?" That's right." Linley nodded his head disapprovingly. Indeed, Linley basically knew what she had just said. Looking at his reaction, Hua Yuan looked helpless and tired. "If that's the case, then I will tell you some things that you don't know." At that moment, he could clearly feel the change in Hua Yuan's aura. She was no longer as lively and cute as before. Instead, she became more mature. It was as if Hua Yuan was 18 years old before and she was now 30 or 40 years old. "Although my clan is the number one clan in the barren plain, in the Holy World, there are some existences in the 10 great continents. The Huang Plain is the lowest out of the 10 plains, while our desolate plain is ranked 6th. However, the matters of the clan are not limited to lower worlds. Even the saints' world is not immune to it," Jian Shen said with a sigh. Hearing this, Lin Rei laughed. "Don't tell me it's a marriage alliance." Sigh. She did not want to admit Lin Rei's words, but it was the truth. Marriage alliance was an unavoidable existence for every clan, including the Holy World, which was a sacred place in everyone's eyes. It's true. Seeing Hua Yuan sigh, it meant that he had guessed correctly. Immediately, Lin Rei laughed even harder. He did not expect that the Holy World would have such emotional disputes. "Yes, that's right." Looking at Lin Rei, Hua Yuan continued, "Although my clan is powerful and our bloodline is the direct line of descent, my father only has me as a daughter and no son. In order to strengthen the position of the direct line of descent in the clan, my father betrothed me to the number one clan in the 8th Yu continent, the young master of the Guyu clan, Gulan Bing." Isn't that good? The 8th continent? It's only second to the 9th or 10th heavenly layer. It should be very powerful. At this moment, Lin Rei's words were exactly the words of those who had been persuading her. If this was not the divine world, she would probably think that Lin Rei was sent by her father to persuade her. Although the Guyu clan is powerful, Gulan Bing is a famous playboy in the Holy World. Just the women by his side are more than 10 times more than the people here. Tell me, can I marry such a person? Such a playboy, how can I give up my life's happiness? At this point, tears flowed down her face. Looking at her, Lin Rei sighed. Sigh. That's how clans are. For their own benefits, they don't care about sacrificing anyone. After all, only power is eternal. Yes. At this moment, Hua Yuan agreed with Lin Rei's words. So, I prepared to leave the Hua clan and wander the Holy World. Although the outside world is full of danger, at least I don't have to marry someone I don't like. Finally, with the help of a servant, I escaped from the Hua clan. But who would have thought that the servant had already become Gulan Bing's spy? The reason why he helped me was because he wanted to give me to his master, Gulanbing. Heh, that's quite tragic. At this moment, Lin Rei couldn't help but admire her luck. Yes, not long after I left the barren state, I met Gulanbing. When he wanted to do something to me, I used a secret technique to escape. Just like that, a chase began. I entered the life of a fugitive, and this fugitive lasted for 1,000 years. During that 1,000 years, I lived in hell. There wasn't a good day, and I didn't have a good meal. After 1,000 years, he finally caught up. Just when I was in despair, I accidentally stepped into a mysterious formation. After that, I fainted. When I woke up, I was already here. After I woke up and asked, I found out that this was the divine world. Just like that, I drifted here for 2,000 years. At this moment, Lin Rei could be said to have heard a person's life story. Such a strange story actually happened to her. Okay, I'm done. Can we leave now? At this moment, Hua Yuan recovered from her memories and said to Lin Rei. Leave? I haven't finished asking. Why are you in such a hurry? Seeing that she was about to leave, Lin Rei couldn't help but stop her. Aya, what else do you want to ask? At this moment, Hua Yuan was a little impatient. Nothing. I just want to ask, how's the situation in the heavenly court in the holy world? You know about the heavenly court? At this moment, Hua Yuan, who was originally impatient, was immediately energized the moment she heard this. That's right. Not only do I know about the heavenly court, but I also have a grudge against the master of the heavenly court, Hao Tian. At this moment, when she thought about how her eyes were blinded by Hao Tian, a boundless killing intent uncontrollably emerged. Hiss, this person, feeling the boundless killing intent, Hua Yuan was stunned. This kind of killing intent, even from her father and the clan leaders of the various large clans, but now she felt it from an emperor god cultivator. What's going on between you and Hao Tian? You're from the divine world, and he's from the holy world. Logically speaking, you two shouldn't have any contact. Of course, at least not now. Hearing Hua Yuan's question, Lin Rei didn't hide anything and immediately told her the story of how he saved Xia Feng. After a few minutes, after listening to Lin Rei's story, Hua Yuan was stunned on the spot. Her expression was filled with disbelief. The master of the Phoenix clan? I didn't expect him to still be alive. She knew about the Phoenix clan. After all, they were both in the holy world, and the Phoenix clan was a ruling existence in the early days of the Eldritch era. Alright, quickly tell me, what's Hao Tian's cultivation level now, and how powerful is the heavenly court? At this moment, hearing the question, Hua Yuan didn't hide anything and told him everything she knew. The heavenly court is a colossal existence in the holy world. Although it's not the strongest, it's not easy to provoke it. As for the heavenly emperor Hao Tian, I really don't know what cultivation level he's at. However, I know that he hasn't reached the Dao integration stage. As for the power of the heavenly court, if my Hua clan can use everything we have, we might be able to completely uproot the heavenly court from the holy world. At this moment, when talking about the Hua clan, Hua Yuan couldn't help but show an arrogant expression. Alright. You didn't say anything at all. At this moment, Lin Rei no longer prayed that Hua Yuan could tell him the cultivation level of the various forces in the holy world, because she didn't know. Seeing that she was useless, he waved his hand and broke the array around them. Chu Ci, let's go. Alright. Chu Ci, who had been waiting, responded immediately when she heard Lin Rei's words. She followed behind Lin Rei and was about to leave. However, just as he reached the door, he thought of the 9 revolutions mixed energy pill that he had refined. He turned his head and said to Hua Yuan, although I didn't get the answer I wanted from you, I still have to thank you. Swoosh, after saying that, Lin Rei waved his hand and a ray of light instantly shot out and landed in front of Hua Yuan. A 9 revolutions mixed energy pill with 10 pill patterns landed in the air and floated there. Heh. How interesting. Looking at the pill and looking at the door and Lin Rei who had left, Hua Yuan smiled and reached out her hand to grab the pill. In a flash, she left the Alchemy Guild. At this moment, before the crowd could react, Lin Rei, Hua Yuan, and Chu Xi had disappeared in front of their eyes. As for Zhuge He, when Linli was about to leave, he came back to his senses and followed closely behind. A farce for Lin Rei ended happily just like that. Seeing that the three most important people had left, it was useless for the crowd to stay. In the end, they all left separately. As the saying goes, everyone should go back to their own homes and find their own mothers. Chapter 742. Zhuge He returned to the restaurant with Lin Rei and saw Zhuge Mingyue forging a supreme quality god artifact for him. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at Chu Xi on the way back and smiled. How was it? What do you think of today's competition? Yeah, it was alright. The others were alright, but I never thought that woman would be on the same level as you, young master. Moreover, she's so young, Chu Xi said with some disappointment. Heh, Lin Rei smiled when he sensed the disappointment in Chu Xi's voice. He explained, actually, you don't have to worry too much about it. I should have known. That woman is no ordinary person. She comes from a large clan in the Saints' world. What? The Saints' world. Chu Xi was shocked. His eyes widened in shock. He never thought that the woman would actually be from the Saints' world. At that moment, he immediately calmed down. After all, she was from the Saints' world. Just her insight was extraordinary, let alone the fact that she was from a large clan. Humph, useless. Sensing that the hint of defiance in Chu Xi's eyes had disappeared, Linli immediately began to berate her. Young master, so what if she's from the Saints' world? Is being born in the Saints' world any different from you? It's just that her background is better. If you were born in the Saints' world, you'd probably be the same. So don't lower your own prestige. How am I supposed to take you to the Saints' world if that's the case? Isn't that just showing my eye for people? With that, Lin Rei shook his head and said nothing more. Afterwards, he sped up and made his way back to where he lived. However, after being scolded by Lin Rei, he immediately came to his senses. He felt enlightened, that's right. So what if she's from the Saints' world? As long as I work hard, the people of the Saints' world will still be trampled under my feet. With that, his confidence returned. He sped up and caught up to Lin Rei. At this moment, not far from Lin Rei's voice, Zhuge He finally saw the figures of Lin Rei and Lin Feng. Then, his face lit up with joy, and he hurriedly sped up. In the blink of an eye, he arrived beside Lin Rei. With an awkward expression, he cupped his hands and interrupted, fellow cultivator Lin Rei, I'm really sorry to disturb you. Hearing someone call him, Lin Rei was stunned. He immediately released his divine sense. When he saw Zhuge He beside him, he suddenly remembered that he had promised to help him refine a supreme-grade divine artifact. More importantly, Zhuge Mingyue was still in the restaurant. Previously, he had captured her purely out of interest. Of course, more importantly, he hoped to befriend her. Once he came out of the ancient corpse trove, he would immediately begin the matter of the Talisman Grandmaster. Looking at Zhuge He, Linli slapped his forehead, a look of embarrassment on his face. He hurriedly apologized, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. I was so focused on hurrying back that I forgot about fellow Daoist Zhuge. Fellow Daoist Lin, you must be joking. Seeing Lin Rei's reaction, Zhuge He hurriedly stopped him and said, I'm sorry to disturb you, fellow Daoist Lin. Alright, let's not stand on ceremony. Let's hurry back. It's not that easy to refine supreme-grade spiritual energy, alright. The two of them looked at each other and nodded. Then, they sped up and headed back to their residence. On the way, when he was bored to death, Lin Rei asked Zhuge He about the type of weapon he needed. By the way, fellow Daoist Zhuge, what kind of weapon do you like and what do you need? Since you have nothing to do, why don't you tell me about it? Hearing this, Zhuge He's eyes lit up. Then, he told Su Mo about the type of weapon he wanted. I like a sword, 2 fingers wide and 1.5 feet long. It would be best if it's a soft sword. Oh. Hearing Zhuge He's request, Lin Rei was slightly surprised. He had never refined a soft sword before. Moreover, from what he knew, soft swords were usually used by women because it was easy to hide. Moreover, it was very useful for assassinations. Hearing that Zhuge He wanted to use such a weapon, Lin Rei was slightly puzzled. He did not understand why a man would use such a weapon. He had underestimated him. To be honest, the soft sword I mentioned is actually for my daughter to use. She has liked soft swords since she was young and she likes the art of assassination, so. Zhuge He said embarrassedly. Oh. Hearing this, Linli finally understood that he had been mistaken. This was what was going on. Alright, I'll refine it for you. After saying that, Lin Rei did not say anything else. Since he had confirmed that it was a supreme-grade divine weapon, it would be easy to handle. After a while, the group returned to their residence. Just as Lin Rei returned to his residence, Xia Feng walked out of her room. You're back. Looking at Lin Rei, Xia Feng said indifferently. Lin Rei nodded and said to Xia Feng, well, release the woman I caught the other day. I'll refine a supreme-grade divine weapon. After saying that, Lin Rei went back to his room. The evil phoenix, upon hearing Lin Li's words, felt very unhappy, but in its heart, it still did as it was told. She turned around and went back to her room. When she came out, there was a woman beside her. It was Zhuge Mingyue. Mingyue. At this moment, Zhuge He noticed the woman behind Xia Feng. At first glance, who else could it be but his daughter? Father? Zhuge Mingyue, who had just stepped out of the room, was complaining in her heart when she heard a familiar voice. She immediately looked up and saw her father, Zhuge He. Immediately, she ran to his side excitedly and hung herself on him. At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was lying in her father's arms, thought of Lin Rei and said cutely, Father, I was bullied. That person kidnapped me and tied me up for a long time. Oh, who dares to touch me, Zhuge? Just as Zhuge He was about to say something, he remembered that his daughter seemed to have been released by Lin Li. For a moment, the aura that he had just built up was like a deflated balloon at this moment, falling limp. Sensing that something was wrong with her father, Zhuge Mingyue jumped down. When she saw her father's helpless expression, she knew that there was something fishy going on. Father, what's going on? Sigh. Looking at his daughter, Zhuge He said helplessly, Mingyue, it's not that I don't want to avenge you. It's just that we can't touch that person. Not to mention your father, even your grandfather wouldn't be able to touch the person who kidnapped you. What? Zhuge Mingyue was shocked. She knew that her grandfather was an expert in the early ultimate god realm. However, her father said that he was no match for Lin Rei. How could she not be shocked? Yes, we can't afford to offend this person. Moreover, he's helping me to forge a supreme-grade sacred weapon. Tell me, how can we touch such a person? Moreover, just now, he used his identity as an honorable grade alchemist to compete with another honorable grade alchemist in the alchemy conference. He won in the end. Moreover, according to my observation, he knows how to use formations. If I'm not wrong, the level of his formations is probably similar to the level of his weapon forging and pill refining. Hiss, at this moment, when she heard that Lin Rei had so many shocking skills, she couldn't help but click her tongue. If he's really that good, not to mention the sword sect, even you guys won't be his match. At this moment, her desire to seek revenge completely disappeared because it was impossible. She probably wouldn't be able to do it in this lifetime. At this moment, in his room, Lin Li took out his trump card. From his storage ring, he took out some top-grade equipment. Finally, from his storage ring, he took out a piece of violet gold soft iron. Lin Li had been reluctant to use this item. He did not expect that because of a promise, he would use it now. Coincidentally, Zhuge He wanted to use the software and the purple gold soft iron was suitable to forge a soft sword. Therefore, in the end, Lin Rei could only reluctantly give it up and forge it. Boom, the illusory spirit blood fire appeared instantly. After all, after forging the divine artifact, he had to go into seclusion to treat his eyes. That was the most important thing. Whoosh. Lin Rei controlled the purple gold soft iron and instantly threw it into the illusory spirit blood fire to smelt it. Puff! The moment the purple gold soft iron entered the illusory spirit blood fire, it showed signs of melting. This was the difference between the purple gold soft iron and the purple gold meteoric iron. The purple gold soft iron was particularly good at melting, while the purple gold soft iron was very easy to melt. However, the two iron ores were indeed of the same level. However, if it were an ordinary person, they would choose the purple gold meteoric iron instead of the purple gold soft iron because the soft iron was not very useful. However, the purple gold meteoric iron was different because it could enhance the offensive power of the divine artifact. After watching the purple gold soft iron melt little by little, Lin Rei took out a mass of purple molten iron and put it in a special container. Oh, the master has melted. Let's go crazy. The purple gold soft iron was the backbone of the software. Now that the backbone had been refined, the rest would be easy. Whoosh. 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 At this moment, more than 20 iron ores on the ground were all thrown into the illusory spirit blood fire by Lin Rei and began to melt. At this moment, Lin Rei used all his strength. The temperature of the illusory spirit blood fire was getting hotter and hotter, so much so that the whole house was about to collapse. My cultivation is still too low. As for the strange state of the house, Linley blamed it all on his low level of cultivation. If anyone else heard this, they would definitely be so angry that they would chase him down with a machete and hack him down the streets. In just a short period of 2,000 to 3,000 years, an ordinary person like you had cultivated to the Emperor God realm. Even the heavens' pride in the holy world would not be able to compare with this cultivation speed. Even so, Lin Rei still felt that his cultivation was too low. This was really not leaving him any way out. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. The iron ores in the fire showed signs of melting. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled. Hee, it's finally melted. As long as it melts, it will be soon. After saying that, the fire became stronger. Kong, at this moment, outside the room, Zhuge He was still waiting. He did not dare to take half a step away. After all, this was for him. Sigh, it would be great if such a genius could be my son-in-law. That's enough. Thinking of this, Zhuge He could not help but smile at Xie Feng. Then, a disappointed expression appeared on his face. The alchemy conference was completely disbanded. When the sects returned to their own sects, they spread the news of what happened at the alchemy conference. Some people even added oil to the fire. Suddenly, the hottest topic in the inner layer of the divine world was the alchemy competition between Lin Rei and another mysterious woman. Whether it was eating, strolling on the streets, or going to the martial arts arena, everyone was talking about Lin Rei. Suddenly, Lin Rei became the focal point of the entire divine world. Of course, people were not afraid of fame. Pigs were not afraid of being fat. Ever since the news of Lin Rei's strength spread, some people were not convinced. In the end, they gathered in Qiong City to challenge Lin Rei and become famous. Lin Rei, who was refining the divine weapon, did not know about all this. Of course, even if he knew, he would just laugh it off. At the very least, he would kill all those who came to challenge him as a warning to others. At this time, more than 10 days had passed. In the room, Lin Rei, who was sitting cross-legged, smiled. Finally, all of you have turned into molten iron. Looking at the molten iron in the fire, he found a special container and put the molten iron in. Phew, after doing all this, Lin Rei breathed a sigh of relief. However, he immediately tensed up again. After all, the next step was the final refining. Thinking about the style of the divine weapon that Zhuge He wanted, spiritual energy rushed out of his body and formed a sword embryo. This sword embryo was made strictly according to Zhuge He's requirements. Everything was ready except for the east wind. Seeing that the sword embryo was ready, he poured the molten iron into the sword embryo according to the order in his heart. Each and every one of these materials could cause a bloodbath in the divine world. Thinking about it, Lin Rei felt that he had suffered a great loss. However, as a person, honesty was the most important thing. Since he had promised, he had to do it. Watching as the longsword slowly took shape, Lin Li took out some liquid violet gold soft iron, then applied a layer of seal to it. 10,000 hammers smelting heavenly art, merge. With a loud shout, he activated the forging technique. Lin Li's palms clenched into fists, and then one punch after another landed on the long sword within the embryonic form. Peng, peng peng peng, that tapping sound caused Lin Li to feel a hint of joy in his heart. At the same time, Lin Rei could feel that his spiritual energy and other aspects were slowly improving. Heh, following which, a series of knocking sounds reverberated throughout the entire room. Spirit gathering array, merge. In the instant that Lin Li hammered the long sword, one formation after another was imprinted onto the long sword by Lin Li's hammering technique. Divine flame pattern, blade pattern. Chapter 743. One by one, the honorable level formations and runes were fused into the flexible sword by Lin Rei at the fastest speed possible. Of course, even though they were honorable level runes and formations, most of them were small and simple, unlike the Sect protection formation. After all, this was just refining a weapon, and the flexible sword couldn't withstand the support of the startling formation. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. During this period, Lin Rei's mental state had been at its most tense. Moreover, during this period of time, he had been fusing formations, runes, and refining weapons. Even an honorable level cultivator couldn't withstand it. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was pale and his breathing was weak, as if he would faint at any moment. It was worrying. Phew. Soon, feeling that the weapon was about to be completed, Lin Rei was delighted. To be honest, if not counting the worldly splendor, this was his first time refining a supreme-grade weapon in the truest sense of the word. Moreover, he pursued perfection too much. Therefore, it was inevitable that he would expend a lot of energy. Of course, outside, Zhuge Hou and the rest, including Xie Feng, had been waiting. After not seeing Lin Rei for such a long time, Xie Feng was very anxious. This was the first time that he had taken so long to refine a weapon. Ha! Weapon complete. Finally, at this moment, after the last formation was engraved on the flexible sword, the supreme-grade weapon was finally completed. Huff huff huff, at this moment, the originally clear sky was blown by a strong wind. Vaguely, everyone could feel a trace of the pressure of heaven and earth in the wind. Although it was very faint, but everyone present was a powerful cultivator. How could they not be able to receive it? Rumble. Rumble, suddenly, the originally clear blue sky suddenly lost its color. One black cloud after another began to gather from every direction. Finally, with Lin Li's room at the center, it began to disperse in every direction. The sound of rolling thunder reached everyone's ears at this moment. At the same time, the pressure of heaven and earth instantly pressed down, crushing everyone's bodies. Cultivators below Sir God Fan were all suppressed by the pressure of heaven and earth at this moment without exception. Hiss, at this moment, outside the door, Zhuge Hou could feel the thunderclouds in the sky. Immediately, he looked at Lin Rei's room with a burning gaze. At this moment, combined with the sudden change in the environment and the thunderclouds in the sky, the only thing he could think of was the completion of the divine weapon. The heaven and earth lightning tribulation. Apart from the baptism of the lightning tribulation and tempering oneself, there were also heaven-defying formations, talismans, pills, and heaven-shaking divine artifacts. Looking at the lightning tribulation above his head, apart from Lin Rei's divine tool, he couldn't think of anyone else who could transcend lightning tribulation here, or any other kind of lightning tribulation. Heh. Looks like it's done. At the side, Xie Feng felt the lightning tribulation rolling in the sky and the shocking pressure of heaven and earth. She was not surprised at all. The corner of her mouth curled up slightly, revealing a relieved smile. She said, "This kid always brings surprises." Previously, he was only upgrading the divine tools realm based on the original foundation. Now, he's even refined a supreme divine consciousness. Looks like it won't be long before he can refine a sacred weapon. Sacred weapons are also known as acquired absolute treasures and innate absolute treasures. However, the difference is that innate absolute treasures are created by heaven and earth. They're extremely powerful and carry the power of heaven and earth. Acquired absolute treasures are refined by heaven and earth. Although they're also very powerful, they can only run for their lives if they encounter innate absolute treasures. At this moment, the appearance of the lightning tribulation had alarmed all the powerful cultivators in Xiong City, including the people in charge of guarding the major sections. At this moment, experts from all directions gathered towards the thunderclouds in a frenzy. They were curious about who was undergoing the lightning tribulation here. After all, the 9 heavenly tribulations would only happen when one broke through to the ultimate God realm. Everyone was curious and vigilant at the same time. After all, if an ultimate God appeared in one of the sects, it would be a potential threat to their sections. However, they did not know that this was not the 9 heavenly tribulations, but the supreme divine weapon refined by Lin Rei. Because of its heaven-defying power, the heavens and earth did not allow it to exist. Therefore, the lightning tribulation descended to destroy it. Lin Rei, who was in the room, did not care about what was happening in the outside world. At this moment, Lin Rei stood up and looked at the floating flexible sword with his divine consciousness. It was as thin as a cicada's wing and was extremely soft. The design was exquisite and it was very attractive. At the same time, the suppressive might of the flexible sword, as well as a soul-piercing sword aura, rose into the air. If it hadn't been for the fact that Linley had set up a formation prior to the forging process, most likely the entire room would have been destroyed by the sword aura emanating from the sword. Sensing the terrifying sword chi, even Linley, the person who had forged it, was shocked. This was something he had not expected. He had not expected this weapon to be so powerful. Of course, such a powerful sword chi was not worth mentioning to him. After all, he was not only a cultivator, but also a body cultivator. His body was strong and unparalleled. His body alone was enough to fight against a mid-ultimate god expert. Lin Rei did not care about the sword chi emitted by the long sword. However, at this moment, a few words appeared on the hilt of the sword. Lin Rei knew that he was the one who refined the sword, but he did not leave his name on it. The only thing Linley could think of was that this top-grade divine artifact had already gained sentience, and the heavens and the earth itself had been born. When he thought of this, Linley felt a surge of excitement. If that was the case, then his sword could be considered as an acquired divine weapon. The 3 words, purple Qilin sword, made Lin Rei happy. He could feel the excitement coming out of the sword. He could feel the excitement of the heavens' retribution outside. Alright. Since you want to go through the heavens' retribution yourself, then go ahead. Let me see how powerful your purple Qilin sword is. Lin Rei understood the meaning of the long sword. He did not stop it and immediately agreed. With a wave of his hand, he removed the formation that was protecting the room. Whoosh! The moment the formation was removed, the purple Qilin sword could not help but break through the room and soar into the sky. At this moment, the people who were waiting outside naturally saw the purple light that rushed out of the room. However, the speed of the purple light was too fast, and no one saw it clearly. However, when the purple light rushed into the air and stopped in midair, everyone was shocked. This was because it was not a person standing in midair, but a long sword. At the same time, because Lin Rei's formation was no longer controlling it, the shocking sword chi rushed out of the sword and towards the thunderclouds in the sky. This was a provocation, a blatant provocation. It was as if it was saying, hit me, hit me. Feeling the shocking sword chi, everyone was shocked. However, they also knew that this was an item without an owner. This was because an item that could go through the heavens' retribution must have just been made. The owner had not had time to make it. At this moment, when Zhuge He saw the long sword in the sky, his breathing quickened and his eyes were filled with shock. Supreme divine weapon, it's really a supreme divine weapon. At this moment, he believed. He was completely convinced by Lin Rei. Before he had seen the long sword, he had been suspicious and curious as to whether or not Linley would be able to forge a top-grade divine artifact. But now, he was completely convinced. At the same time, their respect for Linley was as endless as the waters of the Yellow River. Their admiration for Linley was indescribable. Katja, at this moment, the Heaven's Retribution felt the provocation of the long sword and was instantly enraged. It originally wanted to destroy the long sword, but now that it was provoking it, the Heaven's Retribution could not ignore it. Suddenly, a lightning whip as thick as an arm rushed towards the purple Qilin sword. It was extremely fast and powerful. At this moment, everyone was filled with worry. This was because everyone thought that when a divine weapon went through the Heaven's Retribution, there would usually be a weapon refiner by its side to help it through the Heaven's Retribution. But now, everyone only saw the long sword and did not see the weapon refiner. This made everyone worried. At the same time, they felt sorry for the divine weapon that was resisting the Heaven's Retribution. Of course, this included Zhuge He. He wanted to rush up to help the sword, but he knew that if he did, the Heaven's Retribution would increase by several times. This way, the long sword would be in even more danger. In the end, his impulse was suppressed. He could only stay on the ground and look at the long sword in the sky while praying silently in his heart. Whoosh! Just as the lightning whip was about to collide with the long sword, the crowd could not bear to watch and instinctively closed their eyes. At this moment, they felt the power of the lightning whip. The purple Qilin sword trembled and a shocking sword aura rushed out. Finally, the sword aura turned into a gigantic sword and collided with the lightning whip. Katja, a strange sound was heard. The moment the gigantic sword aura collided with the lightning whip did not resist at all and instantly shattered into pieces. Then, it dissipated into the air. Ah, good. Strong indeed. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was in the room, spied on the situation in the sky through the giant hole above his head. When he saw that Lin Rei's first Heaven's Retribution was easily blocked by the purple Qilin sword, he was relieved. After all, a divine weapon's retribution was not like a cultivator's retribution. A divine weapon's retribution only had 4 bolts of retribution, but a supreme god's retribution had 81 bolts of retribution. That was no joke. If one was not careful, the final result would be a body smashed to pieces and not even a corpse would be left behind. Even if one's soul could enter the cycle of reincarnation. No, it could not be guaranteed that one's soul would remain in this world. When he saw the gigantic sword aura emitted by the purple Qilin sword, he knew that this level of Heaven's Retribution was useless against it. Relieved, Linley straightened out his clothes, then opened the door and walked out. However, the divine weapon that was refined this time is very strong. It can fight on its own and even release such a terrifying sword aura. TSK. Kid, you've improved on the path of craftsmanship. Linley didn't know where he had come from, but as soon as he stepped out of his room, a red-robed demonic phoenix appeared in front of him and spoke out in praise. Why don't you take a look at who refined it? Lin Rei was already used to Xia Feng's appearance. After all, her appearance was similar to that of the little dragon. Therefore, Lin Rei was not too surprised. Tisk, cocky fart. Seeing Lin Rei's narcissism, Xia Feng rolled her eyes at him and let him understand the meaning behind her words. Boom. Katja, just as Lin Rei and Xia Feng finished their conversation, the lightning whip appeared again. However, this time, it was 3 to 4 times stronger than before. It was as thick as Lin Rei's waist. Wang, feeling the power of the Heaven's Retribution, the purple Qilin sword shook and a gigantic sword aura appeared. Whoosh! At this moment, without waiting for the Heaven's Retribution to act, the gigantic sword aura moved first. The gigantic sword aura disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. When it reappeared, it was right in front of the Heaven's Retribution. Then, without hesitation, it pierced the Heaven's Retribution towards the Heaven's Retribution without any hesitation. Katja. The same scene happened again. The second Heaven's Retribution was dispersed by the gigantic sword. However, the gigantic sword did not disappear because of the disappearance of the second heaven's retribution. Instead, its aura disappeared and it rushed towards the heaven's retribution. At the same time, Lin Rei felt the purple Qilin sword's actions. Instantly, his face changed and he knew something was wrong. If it was a normal heaven's retribution, it would be fine. However, if the sword aura rushed into the heaven's retribution and caused the heaven's retribution to dissipate prematurely, what awaited was an even more terrifying heaven's retribution. Thinking of this, Lin Rei did not stop. In the next moment, his body disappeared from the spot. At this moment, he knew the purple Qilin sword's intention. Immediately, he rushed towards the sky at his fastest speed, wanting to stop it. But, it seemed like it was too late. The gigantic sword aura rushed towards the heaven's retribution. Suddenly, rays of purple light came down from the heaven's retribution. Boom, F***ck, shit. Feeling the heaven's retribution disappear, he knew that it was too late. Thinking of the powerful heaven's retribution, Lin Rei felt helpless. He did not expect the sword to act so recklessly. But at the same time, he was shocked by the sword's recklessness. One had to know that a legendary weapon could not fight on its own, let alone disperse the heaven's retribution. With pride in his heart, Lin Rei sensed that the heaven's retribution was dispersing. Immediately, he appeared in front of the purple Qilin sword in a flash and grabbed it in his hand. Then, he turned around and rushed towards Xie Feng. Sigh. What a troublemaker. It's fine if he's a troublemaker, but I didn't expect that the legendary weapon he created would be so troublesome as well. Looking at Lin Rei flying towards her, she understood what he meant. She smiled helplessly and disappeared. When she reappeared, she was already in front of Lin Rei. Looking at him, Xie Feng rolled her eyes and said, "If you create such a reckless weapon again, I can destroy it without the heaven's retribution." Whoosh! With that, Xie Feng disappeared in front of Lin Rei again. At this time, hearing Xie Feng's words, Lin Rei shrugged his shoulders and flew towards the ground. Sure enough, the moment Lin Rei landed safely on the ground, the dissipating heaven's retribution gathered again. But the difference was that the heaven's retribution was blood red. Rumble. Chapter 744. Oh my god, that's hell of blood. At this moment, all the cultivators in Qiong City, including the ordinary people, could feel the powerful and evil aura from the sky. The evil aura was on a completely different level from the black lightning tribulation. The previous lightning tribulation would at most immobilize the cultivators, but this hell of blood was the most terrifying one among all the tribulation clouds. The hell of blood was a weapon tribulation. Only a heaven-defying weapon could attract such a lightning tribulation. Not only could it destroy the weapon, but it could also corrode the person who made it. Although the person who was suppressed by it would not be directly hit by the lightning tribulation, their body and subsequent cultivation would be damaged to a certain extent. This hell of blood was something that all weapon refiners, cultivators, and even body cultivators did not want to encounter. It was because of its tyrannical, evil, and plundering power that no one could tolerate. Even so, it was enough to prove that the weapon used to pass the tribulation was beyond the immortal state. Otherwise, it would not be able to summon such a lightning tribulation. At the same time, how could some greedy people not be tempted by such a treasure? At this moment, all the cultivators who came from all directions within a radius of 1,000 feet all looked at the purple Qilin sword in Lin Rei's hand. Their eyes were filled with greed and viciousness. At this moment, everyone was tempted by greed. They wanted to get the sword. At the same time, the rogue cultivators, demonic cultivators, body cultivators, demons, and even the dwarves who prided themselves on refining weapons were all tempted by the sword. No matter who got the sword, it would not take long for them to be able to ignore the top supreme gods in the realm of the gods. They wanted it because they had just become the rulers of this realm. At the same time, Lin Rei did not expect that the supreme grade sacred weapon he made would cause such a consequence. At the same time, he was proud of his crafting skills. At the same time, he fantasized in his heart, Tisk, if everyone in the Xuanzong sect were to use this kind of divine weapon, the power would be unimaginable. Of course, this was only Lin Rei's fantasy. After all, it would take such a long time to refine a single sword. If 30 or 40,000 people were to use such a divine weapon, it would take hundreds or thousands of years to refine. He couldn't afford such a price, nor did he want to bear it. After all, the current sect master of the Xuanzong sect was him. Coming back to his senses, Lin Rei could sense the vicious and greedy gazes from thousands of feet away. His originally smiling face suddenly turned cold. He had been happy that he had managed to forge such a weapon, but now, there were these people who didn't want to play and came to cause trouble. Looking at them, he glanced at Xie Feng in the sky. Suddenly, a murderous aura rushed out and soared into the sky. At this moment, he was angry. There was a legend in the profound sky world that when Lin Rei was angry, blood would dye thousands of miles. When the demon god appeared, bones would dry up for thousands of years. Of course, Lin Rei naturally knew about these rumors, but he didn't want to. If it weren't for those who didn't want to play and challenged him, causing the deaths of his wives and children, he wouldn't have done that. Now, Lin Rei naturally wouldn't be so impulsive. After all, every time he killed someone who had no enmity with him, it would be his own karma in the end. He had to pay it back, and it was very troublesome. All of you, don't enter within a radius of 300 meters. Keep your greedy hearts in check. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what will happen. At this moment, Linley was extremely mischievous, and he had an amused expression as he spoke. Of course, he knew that his words were very inappropriate. Those people wouldn't stop. Instead, they would become more active. Indeed, the moment Lin Rei finished speaking, a late god emperor who hadn't left stood out and replied to Lin Rei with a cold murderous aura, "Blind man, I'll also give you a chance. Hand over the sword in your hand. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I won't do anything overboard." That's right. Look at yourself. You've already become a blind man, yet you still dare to jump out. Don't lose your sword and lose your life for nothing. You'd better obediently hand over the sword in your hand. Otherwise, I'll let you die without a complete corpse. At this moment, it was even worse than what Lin Rei had expected. Everyone pointed at his nose and scolded him for being blind. Suddenly, Lin Rei's smiling face froze. If the people of the Xuanzong sect were here and saw Lin Rei's current appearance, they would definitely tremble with fear. Without saying anything, they would immediately run away. This was because they knew that Linley had definitely been enraged by that look. Hong Long Long, Kacha, right now, just as Linley was about to explode with rage, an enormous, blood-colored dragon that was as thick as Linley's waist suddenly charged out of the red tribulation clouds, charging towards the demonic phoenix. Feeling the strangeness in the air, Lin Rei smiled. Then, he circulated his cultivation and disappeared from the eyes of the crowd. Where did he go? At this moment, Lin Rei's disappearance was too strange. Even the late god emperor was stunned. His gaze and spiritual sense were all activated, trying to search for the figure of the blind man who had disappeared. But, none of this was what he had expected. Before he could find the figure of the man, Anne's soft sword was already pressed against his throat. At this moment, the soft sword emitted a bit of cold light, but this cold intent was comparable to that of 10,000 years old ice. At this moment, the body of that late-stage god emperor seemed to have been immobilized by the body-fixing technique, causing him to be rooted to the ground. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with fear and hesitation. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, which finally flowed down his cheeks. At this moment, he felt the killing intent behind him and the soft sword emitting endless sword chi. He was afraid. He was no longer as arrogant as before. Let me think. What did you say just now? At this moment, behind the man was Linley, who had disappeared from his original spot. At this moment, Lin Rei was standing behind the man. His violet Qilin sword was pressed against the man's throat. The bright red blood stain was very eye-catching. Senior, I was wrong. This little one has eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please. His life was in the hands of others. Admitting defeat was a way to survive. It was better than losing his life. Heh, wrong? Looking at the man, an amused smile appeared on Linley's face. With a disdainful look, he said softly, "Earlier, this sovereign had already said that if you retreated, everything would be fine. But you didn't listen? Then what should we do? To prevent future troubles, I'll kill anyone who steps within 300 meters. What? You?" Hearing this, the man was shocked. He did not expect this blind man to be so decisive. "Don't worry, I'm very merciful. I won't let you feel any pain." No, I. No matter how the man struggled, he could not get away from Lin Rei's palm. Pooh! A strange sound rang out, resounding in everyone's ears. They saw a bloody hole appear in the god palace in the man's dantian. His dantian and god palace were destroyed. The man's cultivation of a late god emperor was gone. At this moment, he was crippled. Feeling the pain coming from his dantian, he felt his entire cultivation going down the drain. He regretted it. Miserable cries came out from the man's mouth continuously. A strand of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. His face turned pale, and he felt powerless. His body went limp, and he sat on the ground. His face was filled with an aura of death, and he stared at Linley angrily, as if he wanted nothing more than to skin Linley alive and tear out his tendons. At this moment, everyone was startled. At this moment, the few people who were the first to provoke the other party were all stunned. They could not move at all. Their faces were filled with shock and fear. Cold sweat started forming on their foreheads. At this moment, no one dared to take another step forward. They had seen the consequences and price that late God Emperor had to pay. At this moment, everyone was afraid. They could feel the deep fear of death. They regretted it. It's a pity that there was no medicine for regret in this world. Hence, they would be killed mercilessly like that man. Break for me. At this moment when everyone was stunned, a sound similar to the descent of a sage could be heard. In the sky, the moment the heaven blood dragon clashed with Xie Feng, a web of cracks appeared. In less than 2 breaths of time, cracks started spreading on the body of the heaven blood dragon. With a thong, the heaven blood dragon was destroyed. It finally exploded and dissipated from the world. This scene stunned everyone on the ground. Aside from Chu Xi, Yun Kai, and Linley, who were familiar with the demonic phoenix, the others didn't feel anything. This was because they knew the demonic phoenix's true power long ago. Thus, is this still the power of a human? That is a lightning tribulation sent down by Tendo. Yet, it was easily destroyed by such a beautiful move. This person's realm is, at this moment, these questions appeared in everyone's mind. Other than Lin Rei's group, no one was an exception. Even Zhuge Ho and Zhuge Mingyue's group were the same. They knew how powerful Linley was. They knew how powerful Chu Xi was. However, they didn't expect that the woman by Linley's side would be so fierce as well. Even though she had a beautiful face and a curvaceous body, she still couldn't resist. At this moment, how could they not be shocked? At this moment, Linley stared at the demonic phoenix in the air. He let out a helpless laugh. I knew it would be so pretentious. Why make such a big commotion? Wouldn't it be better to just silently wipe it out? However, he did not pay too much attention to this matter. What he wanted to do was to punish these disobedient pests on the ground. Although he could not get rid of all of them, he had to at least make an example out of them. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time for him to take action and sacrifice his own blood to the sword. Looking at the man who was paralyzed in front of him, Lin Rei's cold voice rang in his ears. In your next life, remember to be a good person. Don't do this again. There are some people you can't afford to offend. Pest. After saying that, Linley's arm shook. Moving the flexible sword, he slit the man's throat, causing him to slowly die in despair and coldness. After all, although the man's cultivation of the God Emperor realm had been wasted, his vitality was still very strong. After dealing with him, Linley raised his head and locked his divine sense onto the others. Although his eyes were already blind, when everyone saw his eyes, they couldn't help but instinctively retreat. "Haha, it's your turn. The hunting game has begun. Oh no, run." At this moment, the moment everyone heard Lin Rei's voice, their expressions changed. They did not care about anything else. They did not care about their disciples or their sons. At this moment, they did not care about them. They did not have the time or the experience to do so. Just like that, a game of chasing and killing began the moment Lin Rei made his move. At this moment, no one was in the mood to admire the scene of Xia Feng crushing the blood dragon in the air. At this moment, Lin Rei appeared in front of another person in a flash. He stared at him with his consciousness and smiled evilly. The other person's hair stood on end. No, pest, he didn't even let out a scream. It was a clean, crisp move. Linley attacked, instantly crushing his opponent's dantian and his own head. Finally, he took the storage ring from his opponent's finger, then flashed towards the other person. In this period of time, he only spent 3 breaths to get rid of a powerful cultivator who could shake a region. This method of killing people like cutting vegetables stunned Zhuge He, who was watching from a distance. Zhuge Mingyue's heart skipped a beat. At this moment, the two of them were convinced by Lin Rei's powerful methods. Kacha! Kacha! In the air, Xia Feng's speed became faster and faster. In the end, Xia Feng frowned and felt impatient. She pointed to the sky and roared, "I've given you face, haven't I? There's no end to it." Phoenix cry 9 heavens, Xia Feng looked impatient. She casually made a hand seal. Suddenly, a fire phoenix dozens of feet long appeared and rushed towards the huge bloody hell. Boom, crack, Xia Feng's attack was also sensed by the bloody hell in the air. Suddenly, a terrifying pressure appeared, accompanied by a shocking blood dragon that rushed towards the fire phoenix. A woo, roar, when a dragon and a phoenix fought, one of them was bound to be injured. The two extremely powerful attacks collided in an instant. Rumble. Linley, who had been watching the pill concocting this entire time, was completely astonished. In his heart, he knew that the blood dragon which had just emerged from the hell of blood, was not something he could fight back against. Of course, if he had to pay a price, then, perhaps there was a 75% chance of success. At the same time, at this moment, he once again examined Xia Feng's strength. Although he knew that Xia Feng's cultivation was in the Saint Realm, Xia Feng did not indicate what level she was in the Saint Realm. When he looked behind him, the beautiful scene from before was now gone. At this moment, he knew that killing the chicken to warn the monkey was enough. Immediately, he killed the man in his hand and put him away in his storage ring. Then, he suddenly rose into the air and shouted, "Anyone who comes within 300 meters of me will be killed without mercy." Chapter 745. At this moment, no one dared to refute or take a step forward. After all, Lin Rei's strength was clear for all to see. If someone were to enter at this moment, they would either think that they were stronger than Lin Rei or be a fool. Very well. Seeing everyone's reactions, a hint of a smile appeared on Linley's face. Then, he turned around and walked towards Zhuge He. At this moment, his hand was already filled with storage rings. These were all his spoils of war from earlier. Heh, all trash. Looking at his level on the surface of the rings, Lin Rei was full of disdain. He did not use these things when he was in the immortal world. Of course, although he said that, it was inevitable that there would be some loopholes in the rings. However, he did not look at them now. Instead, he put them all in the system. Moreover, when Xia Feng killed people, she also got some storage rings. At this moment, Lin Rei put them all together. Hee, Taoist Lin Rei is indeed domineering and powerful. At this moment, seeing Lin Rei, who was like the god of death, standing in front of him, Zhuge He immediately said respectfully. In his words, he did not dare to show any disrespect. After the battle just now, he had completely divided himself and Lin Rei into two different people. He was at the bottom, while Lin Rei was at the top. He was an existence that could not be reached. He was not, Taoist Zhuge, you must be joking. They are all small fries. If you were in their place, you would probably do better than me. Knowing what Zhuge He meant, Lin Rei quickly greeted him. Hee. Zhuge He smiled and didn't say anything else. However, Zhuge Mingyue's gaze towards Linli was filled with admiration, envy, and a sense of admiration that she shouldn't have. After all, such a powerful existence would be a hero in every woman's heart. Coincidentally, Lin Rei met the standard of a hero in Zhuge Mingyue's heart. Oh, right. At this moment, Lin Rei suddenly thought of something and hurriedly handed the purple Qilin sword to Zhuge He, saying, "This sword is called the purple Qilin sword." The name of the sword naturally appeared when it was forged. It is truly blessed by the heavens. This, although he had just arrived at this moment, he hesitated after seeing the might of the sword. There were so many people who wanted to snatch it from him earlier. If he were to put it away now, it would probably cause others to kill him for it. Although he was a member of the Milk Sword Sect, but there might be some people who were blinded by greed and wanted to rob him. Perhaps some sects would be jealous and then kill him to steal the treasure. They might even destroy the corpse and destroy the evidence. Father, although Zhuge He thought so, Zhuge Mingyue didn't think so. After all, who wouldn't want to play with such a powerful weapon? Moreover, the flexible sword was very beautiful. Take it. Lin Rei knew what Zhuge He was thinking. He smiled and said, "This sword was specially forged according to your standards. If you don't take it, I won't use it. My wives won't use the software either. In the end, the purple Qilin will be covered in dust. Wouldn't that be a pity? Your wives." Hearing Lin Rei's words, Zhuge Mingyue's eyes dimmed and were filled with disappointment. Sigh. Sensing the meaning in Zhuge Mingyue's eyes, Lin Rei sighed and said, "Yes, my wives don't use flexible swords. So, take it." With that, he didn't wait for Zhuge He to speak and stuffed the sword into his hands. Then he turned around and faced the crowd hundreds of feet away. He said, "All of you, I give this sword to the Sword Sect's Zhuge He." This. Zhuge He was shocked. He didn't expect Lin Rei to do this. However, hearing Lin Rei's next words, Zhuge He lowered his head in shame. The sword is in Zhuge He's hands. I'm different. Others can't have it, not even a supreme god. If I find out, no matter what sect you are from, whether it's the Danzong sect or the Rain sect, as long as you try to steal it, I'll destroy your sect with everything I have. With that, Linli turned, a smile on his face. Alright, now you can use it boldly. In the future, if anyone tries to steal it from you and I find out, I'll wipe out their entire sect as a warning. Hearing this, Zhuge He sighed in relief. He immediately thanked Lin Rei. Thank you, Taoist Lin Rei. Not only did I let you forge a supreme-grade artifact for me, but I also let you protect me. It's really, alright, that's enough. Lin Rei knew what Zhuge He wanted to say. He didn't wait for Zhuge He to finish and interrupted him. This matter is over. I can go into seclusion with peace of mind. At this moment, Lin Rei couldn't wait to go into seclusion immediately. That way, he wouldn't need to use his divine sense to replace his eyes when he exited seclusion. He wouldn't need to wait until he reached a certain level of cultivation before his eyes could recover. Oh. Taoist Lin Rei wants to go into seclusion. Zhuge He was shocked. It was an eventful time now. Moreover, the burial ground was about to appear. It was really inappropriate to go into seclusion now. Yes, what's wrong? Lin Rei was puzzled. Oh, nothing. I just wanted to say that the ancient corpse burial ground will open 22 years later. At that time, many people will go there to seek opportunities. If you go into seclusion now, I'm afraid, in his memory, emperors usually went into seclusion for a few hundred years. Oh. The ancient corpse burial ground is opening? Lin Rei was very surprised about the ancient corpse burial ground. After all, his next destination was the ancient corpse burial ground. Now, it was too coincidental. The coincidence made Lin Rei a little scared. After he came here, he had never heard of such a dangerous place. There was actually an opportunity. Of course, he wouldn't say that he wanted to go to the ancient corpse burial ground. After all, if the ancient corpse burial ground was going to open, they would probably go too. If he said, it would probably cause a lot of trouble. He wouldn't get involved in this kind of business. Yes, I don't know why, but the ancient corpse burial ground has been moving in and out during this period of time. It seems like the corpse king has appeared. Many people are very jealous of the corpse king's unique corpse core. Moreover, those who entered the ancient corpse burial ground have never come out. One can imagine how dangerous it is inside. At the same time, danger and opportunity coexist. The ancient corpse burial ground is a place that has never been explored. There are countless divine medicines inside. Therefore, various sects will take the opportunity to search for corpse cores and plunder it. Oh. At this time, Lin Rei heard Zhuge He's words and immediately frowned. Now, he had to get the corpse core faster than those people. Otherwise, his life would be in danger. Gotcha, however, just when Lin Rei was in a daze and thinking, thunder roared in the sky. He saw a blood dragon instantly coming out of the thunder clouds and descending towards Xiafeng. At this moment, Zhuge He saw it. His face turned pale and his whole body couldn't help but tremble. At this moment, not only Zhuge He, but even Lin Rei was a little shocked. Perhaps even he would find it difficult to withstand this lightning tribulation. Of course, if he wanted to withstand it, he would have to pay a painful price. However, Xiafeng stood in the sky with a calm face as if nothing had happened. It was as if she didn't care about the existence of the red dragon. Willful, too damn willful. This was the only thing Lin Rei could think of. In the sky, Xiafeng, who was standing in the sky, raised her head slightly and looked at the blood dragon that was coming towards her. The corners of her mouth curled up into a disdainful smile. If this scene were to be seen by others, they would probably be scared silly. Woo! The dragon's roar reverberated throughout the 9 heavens and 10 earths as if it wanted to break through the heavens and earth. Humph, Aunt, how dare you be so arrogant in front of me? What are you waiting for? Back off. Looking at the blood dragon, Xiafeng frowned. The pressure of the true phoenix rushed out and formed an invisible phoenix. Instantly, it rushed towards the blood dragon. Its speed was so fast that even the reincarnation of the Kuan Peng might not be able to reach it. The phoenix spread its wings and appeared in front of the blood dragon in an instant. Then, without hesitation, it crashed into the blood dragon. Boom, gotcha! At this moment, in everyone's eyes, the blood dragon collapsed for no reason. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, it was different. After all, his spiritual energy and consciousness were incomparable to those in the realm of the gods. He could clearly feel the presence of a phoenix formed from the pressure of the true phoenix. It's finally over. The last tribulation lightning was destroyed by Xiafeng. Instantly, the blood-red thunderclouds that covered the sky above Jade's city completely dissipated. As the saying goes, the clouds parted to reveal the blue sky. At this moment, the thunderclouds dissipated and the heavens and earth returned to normal. Whoosh! In midair, the demonic phoenix flickered, then disappeared. When it reappeared, it was by Lin Li's side. Let me tell you, this is your last chance. In the future, I won't care about your tribulation lightning. Looking at Lin Rei, Xiafeng's face was filled with resentment. She was very unhappy. All right. This is the last chance. Lin Rei had his own way of dealing with Xiafeng. Although this was the last chance, when the time came, she would have to appear. Humph. She snorted coldly and ignored Lin Rei. Then, she walked back to her room. At this moment, Lin Rei withdrew his gaze and looked at Zhuge He. Fellow Zhuge, I've fulfilled my promise to you. In that case, I'll take my leave first. Then, without waiting for Zhuge He's response, he left with Chu Ci and Yun Kai and returned to his room. Sigh. Forget it. We can only meet such a capable person again if fate wills it. After seeing Lin Rei and the others completely disappear, Zhuge He called everyone to leave. In the room, Lin Rei sat on the bed. He looked at Chu Ci and Yun Kai and said with a smile, I'm about to go into seclusion. During this period, you two should also go into seclusion. Don't go out. I'll call you when I come out. Hearing the order, the two nodded repeatedly. Yes, we understand. Nodding, he then placed his divine sense on Chu Ci. You do as I said before. Although I can't let you go into seclusion for 100 years, when I come out, I'll check on your cultivation. Try your best to advance from the Dan stage to the Zone stage. As for your cultivation, you've been advancing too quickly recently. Therefore, during this period, don't advance further. Focus on consolidating your cultivation first. Wait until your cultivation is completely consolidated before you make the next breakthrough. I'll remember. After instructing Chu Ci, he turned to Yun Kai and said, you won't be able to compete much, so don't concoct pills. Just cultivate according to the cultivation method I taught you before. Cultivate your body well. This will bring you unexpected benefits in the future. I understand. Alright, since that's the case, you two can go back into seclusion. When I come out, I'll wake you up. Then, with a wave of his hand, spiritual energy rushed out and formed two spiritual heads. They enveloped Chu Ci and Yun Kai and then gently pushed them out of the room. Bam! The door was closed and Chu Ci and Yun Kai left. At this moment, in the room, Lin Rei smiled when he sensed that the two had left. I hope you two will have improved after I come out. With that, Lin Rei prepared to go into seclusion. Who is it? Just as he was about to enter the system to go into seclusion, a familiar feeling suddenly appeared. Did you notice? At this moment, in a house not far from Lin Rei's room, Hua Yuyin, who had competed with Lin Rei in the alchemy conference, was staring at Lin Rei's room with interest. Yo, the little princess of the Baron State's Hua family in the holy world has a habit of peeking. Aren't you afraid of getting a needle's eye? You. Hua Yuyin was shocked. She turned around and saw Lin Rei looking at her with a smile. You. Why are you here? I just felt that you. At this moment, Hua Yuyin did not understand. She felt that Lin Rei was in the room a moment ago, but in the next second, he appeared behind her. She knew this speed very well. Tell me, why are you here? Why are you spying on me? What are you trying to do? Instead of answering Hua Yuin's question, he asked his own question. Stingy. Knowing that Lin Rei would not tell her, Hua Yuin stuck out her tongue and smiled mischievously. Then, she explained, what else can I do? It's all because of the 9 revolution mixed energy pill you gave me. It's so good. After eating it, my cultivation has increased a lot. I feel that if I eat a few more pills, I can break through the Emperor God realm and enter the ultimate God realm. After that, Hua Yuin looked at Lin Rei with a yearning look. Her hand involuntarily reached out to Lin Rei as if she wanted something. You're interesting. He had never seen anyone who asked for things so confidently. Hee, since you think I'm interesting, then give me a few more 9 revolution mixed energy pills. Don't worry, when I enter the holy world again, I'll pay you back double. Heh, looking at Hua Yuin's current state, Lin Li chuckled and walked towards his room. Forget it. It's not like I don't know what happened to you in the saint's world. So, you should save it. Bang! Without waiting for Hua Yuin to speak again, Lin Rei returned to his room and locked the door. He entered the system and began his seclusion. Chapter 746. In the system, Lin Rei came to the front of the little dragon excitedly and sat down. Come on. Heh, you're quite impatient, aren't you? Looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon said with a smile. Upon hearing his words, Lin Rei gave him a helpless look. Aren't you talking nonsense? I haven't used my eyes for such a long time. It's you. Aren't you excited? Really? That's true. The little dragon blushed with shame. Alright, let's begin. I can't wait any longer. After saying that, Lin Rei took out the Tendo's eye. Using his spiritual energy as a hand, he dragged the Tendo's eye and handed it to the little dragon. At this moment, he had already closed his eyes and was waiting for his eyes to return to normal. Sigh. All right. Since you're so anxious, I'll go all out. Looking at Lin Rei's expectant and excited face, the little dragon sighed inwardly. Then, he took the Tendo's eye and began to repair Lin Rei's eyes. In the deepest part of the ancient corpse trove, a young man dressed in a gorgeous brocade robe stood on top of a towering mountain peak. His eyes were filled with anticipation as he looked into the distance with a charming smile on his lips. However, this smile wasn't just charming on the surface. Instead, it was extremely strange and sinister, the kind that made one's hair stand on end. Finally, the restriction of the ancient corpse trove is about to be lifted. I'm finally going to be free. For millions of years, I've been locked in this forbidden land and suffered the coldness and cruelty of this place. Finally, the bitterness is over and the sweetness is about to come. What a pity. At this moment, the man's face was filled with disappointment, decline, and loneliness, giving off a feeling of loneliness. Millions of years have passed. Little sister, little brother, I don't know if you're still alive. I miss you so much. The crystal clear teardrop flowed out of the man's eyes. It was filled with anticipation, longing, and sadness. He knew that millions of years had passed. How could his younger siblings still be alive? Unless their cultivation was heaven-defying, it was impossible for them to have such a powerful life force and lifespan. However, in the depths of his heart, there was still a trace of expectation and hope. After all, the affairs of the world were unpredictable. There were all kinds of strange things in the boundless universe. What if they cultivated? What if they became cultivators and cultivated to the point where it was a pity that they had to endure the restrictions of millions of years? All of this was still unknown, but the man's expectations were so low. Sigh. Little sister, little brother, if I had known that I would die here and accidentally become the master of this ancient corpse trove, I definitely wouldn't have come. This man wearing a gorgeous brocade robe was the master of the ancient corpse trove, Gu Feng. At the same time, he was the target of Lin Rei's desire to obtain the pill. Gu Feng was originally living in the divine realm. Although he wasn't happy, at least he was able to live with his younger siblings. Although his life wasn't very satisfactory, he was still very happy. However, one day, his younger sister, Gu Ai, suddenly contracted a very strange disease. At that time, Gu Feng asked all the sections. In the end, he obtained a pill formula from a living old man. He said that there was a medicine in the ancient corpse trove. This medicine couldn't be found anywhere else. It could only be found in the ancient corpse trove. The name of this medicine was Yin Spirit Grass. It was the most important pill formula for his younger sister Gu Ai. After hearing this, Gu Feng became excited. His younger sister could finally be saved. After that, the old man left. Gu Feng wanted to find the medicinal stone wholeheartedly. This time, he bid farewell to his family and went to the ancient corpse trove alone. Everything was fine at first. However, when he went deep into the trove, he finally found the Yin Spirit Grass. Originally, everything was so simple. When he saw the medicinal stone before him, he only needed to extend his hand and he would be able to grab it. However, at the moment when he extended his hand and was about to touch the medicinal stone, a corpse master instantly rushed out from the side. At that time, Gu Feng was only an ordinary person. Although he was very strong, he was still no match for a corpse master. Corpse masters were existences comparable to divine guards. How could an ordinary divine guard be a match for them? In the end, the divine guard had his blood sucked dry by the corpse master. 1,000 years later, the originally dead Gu Feng miraculously woke up. Furthermore, he possessed the strength of a corpse master. Furthermore, he also possessed an indescribable cultivation technique. It was precisely because of this cultivation technique that he began to slowly cultivate it. Another 10,000 years passed. Just when Gu Feng felt that he had become so powerful that he was invincible, he left the ancient corpse trove. After finding the Yin spirit grass, he planned to leave the ancient corpse trove. However, who would have thought that, to Gu Feng's despair, at the moment when he was about to leave the ancient corpse trove, just as he stepped into the border between the outside world and the ancient corpse trove, a burst of frightening energy appeared. It locked onto him and pushed him into the depths of the ancient corpse trove. Regarding this, Gu Feng persevered. However, every time, it was like the first time. He tried again and again, but in the end, he failed again and again. He knew that he would not be able to leave. Furthermore, such a long time had passed. Although he very much hoped that his relatives were still alive, their disappearance was very revealing. Thus, he gladly accepted it. However, there was always a trace of hope in his heart. That was because he did not want to believe that his younger siblings had already passed away. Just like this, because he was unable to leave, he stayed here. Furthermore, he went deeper, deeper, and deeper, and deeper, defeating the experts of the ancient corpse trove step by step. 1,000 years later, he became the king of the ancient corpse trove. Furthermore, he had cultivated a rare corpse core. In the past, there would also be some people who would recklessly come to the ancient corpse trove. Thus, in order to leave, Gu Feng, who wanted to leave, spread a rumor that as long as he could obtain the corpse core of a corpse king, he would be able to increase his cultivation. In fact, he might even be able to break through the deity realm and reach the saint realm. Cultivators love to hear such words and treasures the most. Sure enough, when this news spread, the entire deity realm was shaken. In the end, every few hundred years or even 1,000 years, there would be a group of people who would enter the ancient corpse trove. In the end, they would all be cruelly killed by Gu Feng. When they were 7,000 years old, Gu Feng would obtain the information he wanted to know. Then, he would cruelly kill them without any trace of emotion. After all, he was someone who had already died once. Although he was alive now, he did not have a heartbeat or a pulse. He only had the ability to stand up and walk, as well as think. This time around, it was the opening of the hidden ground that happened only once in 1,000 years. However, to Gu Feng's excitement, he felt that the spirit formation sealing him was slowly disappearing. Regarding this, he was very excited. He wanted to leave. He wanted to verify whether his relatives had truly left. Plop. At this moment, a man suddenly appeared. With a respectful expression, he stood in front of Gu Feng and asked, reporting to the Zong master, "This time, are we going to kill all the people who come here as usual?" Yes. After coming back to his senses and hearing his subordinate's question, Gu Feng fell into deep thought. He had not thought about this question. He only wanted to leave as soon as possible and had forgotten about this matter. A few minutes later, Gu Feng came back to his senses. He turned to look at the man kneeling on the ground and said, "Just like in the past, kill all the people who come here. Leave none alive. However, in the future, you don't need to bring those people to me. You guys can stay here. The blood vessels in their bodies are very powerful. You guys should hurry up and cultivate. Otherwise, when I leave this time, I will not feel at ease leaving such a big mess to you guys." You're leaving? At this moment, the man was shocked. He looked at Gu Feng with a blank expression. He knew about the spirit formation. Back then, he also wanted to go out. Yes, he was impulsive. However, because of the spirit formation, he couldn't go out at all. Now that he heard that the Zong master was going out, how could he not be shocked? He respected the Zong master a lot. He could not think of a second person who could unify the fragmented ancient corpse trove in 1,000 years. Yes. He didn't hide anything from the man in front of him. I can feel it. That barrier is slowly weakening me. That's why I want to go out and see if my family is still there. Although I know it's a silly idea, but I want to try. What if something unexpected happens? However, don't worry. If I really can't find them, I will come back immediately and cultivate in peace. I want to ascend to the Holy Realm as soon as possible. Hee, good. At this moment, the man laughed. This is the Gu Feng I know, the Zong master of the ancient corpse trove. That's the kind of courage you need. Hee, you brat. Hearing the man's flattery, Gu Feng felt very helpless. Alright, you can go now. At most, I will be able to leave in 30 years. Yes, good. The man nodded and then left. Sigh. I hope you won't disappoint me this time. You can really let me out and give me freedom. Looking at the man's back, Gu Feng turned around and looked into the distance again. He was confused. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 22 years had passed. At this moment, a rumbling sound came from the ancient corpse trove. At this moment, the strange movement of the ancient corpse trove caused the 7 sects in the divine realm, as well as some smaller sects and families, to send people to the ancient corpse trove. Although they knew that there was no news of those who entered in the past, this time, they were led by their seniors. Moreover, for the treasures inside, they were willing to go in wave after wave. All of the major sects in the firmament had sent out their most valuable treasures. Even some of the sect leaders of the major sects had personally taken part in the expedition, all for the sake of obtaining the treasures in the ancient corpse vault as well as the corpse cores in the corpse king's bodies. At this moment, in the most authoritative heavenly temple in the Sword Sect, Zhuge He was sitting on the seat of the sect leader. He looked at the 6 elders and the 12 protectors with a serious and hesitant expression. What do you think? This time, should we participate in the expedition to the ancient corpse trove? According to the past, those who could come out from the ancient corpse trove had a 90% chance of dying. Furthermore, only 1 or 2 of them came out alive. However, the treasures that those 2 people brought with them are indeed like the expenses of our sect. That's 100 years' worth of expenses for a sect. Hearing the words of Zhuge He, the 18 elders and protectors of the Sword Sect were similarly hesitant. They knew about this problem, but they were unsure if they should go or not. After all, the probability of death was high if they went. But if they did not go, they would similarly suffer a huge loss. Furthermore, it would be spread by the outside world that they were too cowardly to enter the ancient corpse trove. This was a dilemma. He couldn't go, but he couldn't not go either. Father, I feel that we should go to the ancient corpse trove this time. Furthermore, we should have a middle-stage god emperor leading the team. Just as everyone was pondering, the voice of a girl suddenly sounded. One could see a beautiful girl standing at a corner. She was looking at the cultivators present with a resolute expression. Her face was filled with confidence. Why? Zhuge He asked. Father, have you forgotten? I have the violet Qilin sword which surpasses the supreme grade deity weapon. In addition, I am a middle-stage god emperor. Do you still think that we can't win against the other sects? Furthermore, Lin Rei has said previously that if anyone dares to snatch the treasures, he will annihilate their sect. Thus, I feel that this is a rare opportunity. That's right. At this moment, hearing his daughter's words, Zhuge He's eyes widened. His face was filled with joy and relief. His eyes became resolute at this moment. All right. Since that's the case, I'll order the Grand Elder and Second Elder to bring 16 elites of the sect to the ancient corpse trove. It's good to obtain treasures, but at the very least, don't lose your life. Do you understand? Furthermore, this time, my daughter, Zhuge Mingyue, will be going too. The moment these words were spoken, everyone present was in an uproar. After all, the dangers of the ancient corpse trove were not something ordinary people could predict. They did not think that the sect master would actually let his daughter, the little princess of the Sword Sect, go. However, no one refuted. Even though they had doubts in their hearts, they still did as they were told. We understand. We wish the Grand Elder, Second Elder, and Miss Mingyue a victory and return early. At the same time, this phenomenon was very common within the 7 sections. Even if they wanted to steal, they had to use their trump cards. After all, this time they were sure that it was the ancient corpse trove, so they had to be cautious. At this moment, the figure of the little dragon could no longer be seen in the system. There was only Lin Rei sitting alone on the surface of the water. His eyes were shining brightly, as if there were no signs of dissipating. At this moment, the aura on Lin Rei's body was indeed stronger than before. The feeling he gave off was extremely domineering. Ah! This brat has been in closed-door cultivation for more than 20 years. That's not bad. At least his cultivation has broken through to the great perfection late-stage God-Emperor realm. He even cured his eyes. At this moment, seeing the changes in Lin Rei, the system was filled with emotions. The only thing it was dissatisfied with was the little dragon. Because this time, he had used up all of his soul energy. After all, he was originally a soul body. Now that his soul energy was used up, he had to return to his training ground and cultivate again. Otherwise, he would not wake up again. As soon as the system finished speaking, Lin Rei let out a long breath of turbid air. His face was filled with ease and comfort. Along with the comfort of his body, his originally closed eyes opened at this moment. Chapter 747. So, a ray of golden light shot out from his eyes and landed on a hill in front of him. Bang! The golden light shot out from Linley's eyes instantly sank into the mountain. Then, with a loud bang, it exploded like a heavenly maiden scattering flowers. The next moment, the golden light in Lin Rei's eyes regained its clarity. The previous dark gray color had completely disappeared. His eyes regained their usual nimbleness and coldness. A smile appeared on Lin Rei's face. Finally, my eyes have recovered. Looking at the colorful space around him, Lin Rei's face was filled with excitement. It was just that his eyes did not match his face at all. His face was full of smiles. It was like flowers blooming in spring, giving others a warm feeling. Looking at his eyes, they were cold and emotionless. It gave others a feeling of goosebumps. If one looked at them enough, they would feel as if they had fallen into ice. Amen. The moment Lin Rei felt the colors around him, a strange feeling came from his body. After checking it out, Lin Rei felt excited. TSK, who would have thought that this Tendo's eye would contain such a huge amount of energy? After 20 years of closed-door cultivation, it allowed me to advance from the middle stage to the peak of the late stage. If a few more come, won't I only need 100 years to advance to the sacred world? Of course, he could only think about it. He did not believe that the Tendo's eye was as common as cabbages on the streets. One had to know that this was the Tendo's eye. It was already a blessing from the heavens to have one. This kind of opportunity could not be forced. To be able to regain his clarity, he had nothing else to ask for. Feeling the energy in his body, Lin Rei was filled with excitement. After all, the system had promised him that as long as he could reach the late stage of the God-Emperor realm, it would give him a spatial technique. This was something that Lin Rei had been thinking about all these years. Now that he had finally broken through to the late stage of the God-Emperor realm, how could he not be excited? As he thought about this, Linley didn't waste any more time. Raising his head, he stared at the sky and said, "System, now that I've reached the level you spoke of, shouldn't you tell me about that secret technique?" Silence. After Lin Rei finished speaking, the space was silent. It was as if the system did not hear him. Seeing this, Linley's face twitched, and he rolled his eyes. Tirelessly, he opened his mouth again and said, "System, you are an omnipotent existence. Tell me, an existence like you wouldn't want to renege on my secret technique, right?" At this moment, Lin Rei used his cultivation, even though he knew it was useless. However, what he did not expect was that after he finished speaking the second time, a few breaths later, the originally quiet space was finally broken by the system's voice. "You little rascal." The system laughed and scolded, can you not be so greedy? Opening up a secret space, although it's not a top-notch existence, it's still very impressive. Can't you let me slow down? My heart would ache if I gave you something so good. At this moment, Lin Rei was speechless. However, he did not disturb the sadness of the system. Instead, he quietly waited for the system to give him the secret technique. Anyway, when Lin Rei felt that he had broken through to the late stage of the God Emperor realm, he decided that he would not give up until he got the secret technique. 10 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, after a very long time, until Lin Rei did not know how long, the silent system finally spoke, "You brat, I really admire you." Towards Lin Rei, the system was helpless. "All right, you can go out first. I have to find that secret technique for you. After you come out from the ancient corpse vault, I'll give it to you, okay?" Hearing the words of the system, Lin Rei fell into deep thought. Logically speaking, he would not agree to such a thing, but when he thought of the possibility that the ancient corpse vault had opened, he felt a sense of urgency. After all, he was aiming for the corpse core this time, and the corpse core was related to his life. Therefore, he could not help but be nervous. Thinking of this, Lin Rei agreed, "All right, since it's like this, I promise you. But when the time comes, don't act shamelessly like today. Just pretend that you didn't hear me." I won't. Also, I really didn't hear you just now. I'll be a fool if I believe you." These words could only fool a 3-year-old child. To deal with him, it was simply treating him as a retard. "All right, I won't argue with you anymore. I'd better go out quickly. I don't know how the ancient corpse vault is now, and whether those sects have entered the ancient corpse vault." After saying that, Lin Rei decided to go out. However, just before he left, Lin Rei could not help but turn his head and look at a mound of dirt in the depths of the space. This mound of dirt was the place where the little dragon recovered. "Don't worry, little dragon. After I return from the ancient corpse vault, I will search the entire celestial realm for you. I will also find elixirs that can increase your soul power and replenish your soul power." After saying that, he looked at the mound of dirt again. Then, with a thought, he instantly disappeared from the system. He returned to the room where he went into seclusion. Phew, returning to reality, Lin Rei looked around and saw that nothing had changed. He let out a long sigh of relief, and his face was full of smiles. Finally, I'm finally out. Ancient corpse vault, wait for my arrival." After saying that, he got out of bed and tidied up his messy clothes. His face was full of warmth, and then he pushed the door open and walked out. "You came out at noon." The sudden voice made Lin Rei, who was walking, stop in his tracks. His face was full of shock. Damn, it can't be. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was frozen in place, heard the voice of the girl just now. Suddenly, a girl's figure appeared in his mind. At this moment, a girl floated down from the roof and came in front of Lin Rei with a face full of resentment. She pointed at his nose and said, "You're finally out. Do you know that I've been waiting for you here for more than 20 years? In these 20 years, I couldn't do anything. I was just afraid that you would suddenly leave. In these 20 years, I ate and slept in the open. What about you? You were comfortably in seclusion. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me?" At this moment, the one who spoke was not someone else. It was Hua Yuan, who came to seek the 9-revolution mixed energy pill before Lin Rei went into seclusion. Looking at Hua Yuan's face, Lin Rei smiled helplessly and bitterly. He did not expect Hua Yuan to still be so persistent. However, he did not plan to give the 9-revolution mixed energy pill to anyone, including Hua Yuan. After all, he was about to reach the Saint Realm. These pills were very useful to him. Thinking about it, Lin Rei quickly shook his head and said, "I can't agree to what you said, Hearing this, Hua Yuan quickly refuted. However, Lin Rei cut her off in the end. "Listen, I don't need anything in exchange, including divine crystals. So, give it up. You Seeing that Lin Rei was stubborn, Hua Yuan could only use the word delay to bluff her way out. Alright, since you don't want to give it to me, then I won't leave until you give me the pill. During this period, I will follow you until you give me the pill. Otherwise, I will exhaust you to death. Anyway, I need time. I'm not afraid. Speechless, Lin Rei did not say anything to Hua Yuan. Since she was willing to follow him, then let her follow him. Anyway, he would be going to the ancient corpse vault soon. With her around, she might be a good assistant. Thinking about this, Lin Rei smiled and did not say anything. Instead, he walked towards Xia Feng's room. After all, only Xia Feng was following him. Of course, he had to inform her about the recovery of his eyes. Their rooms were not very far away. In a few minutes, they arrived at Xia Feng's room. Knock knock knock. A series of knocks came into the room. In the room, when Xia Feng was cultivating, she suddenly heard a series of knocks on the door. In an instant, she frowned and her face was filled with coldness. Bastard, I am cultivating. Don't you know how to write the word death by disturbing me? Carrying a huge amount of pressure and cultivation, she rushed out of her body and rushed towards the door. Boom! Lin Rei, who was full of anticipation, suddenly heard a roar and a terrifying pressure coming from the room. He was shocked and his face was filled with astonishment. TSK. She is indeed in the sage realm. Even though I have broken through a small level, I did not expect it to be so difficult to deal with her pressure. It seems that I am still not strong enough. At this moment, feeling the intention of Xia Feng's pressure, Lin Rei smiled and transmitted his voice, "Come out, I am out." Lin Rei transmitted his voice in her mind. After hearing it, Xia Feng was stunned. Then, a smile appeared on her cold face. This brat, with a smile, he retracted his pressure and took a step forward. In the next moment, he arrived at the door and opened it. Suddenly, Lin Rei's figure appeared when the door was opened. At this moment, Xia Feng was paying attention to Lin Rei's eyes. Your eyes have recovered? Hee, it is obvious. Saying that, he could not help but roll his eyes. PFFF, facing Lin Rei's mischievousness, Xia Feng did not give him any face and laughed. After all, she knew Lin Rei's character. Alright, come in. Saying that, she removed her hand from the door and opened a path for Lin Rei to enter. I don't think I invited you. At this moment, Hua Yuan, who swore to follow Lin Rei, saw Lin Rei enter and wanted to follow him. However, the moment she stepped into the door, Xia Feng was dissatisfied. At this moment, Hua Yuan wanted to fly into a rage. But when she thought of that terrifying pressure, she immediately calmed down. In the end, she could only helplessly retract her foot. After that, she stood at the door unwillingly. At least you are sensible. Seeing that Hua Yuan was sensible, Xia Feng snorted and closed the door with a peng sound. At this moment, Lin Rei and Xia Feng were the only ones in the room. But the two of them did not speak. The atmosphere became stiff. Under the awkward atmosphere, Lin Rei finally showed his gentlemanly side and took the initiative to speak. This time, I have broken through to the late-stage God-Emperor realm after coming out of seclusion. Furthermore, I have recovered my eyes. Therefore, I wish to set off for the ancient corpse depository tomorrow. Saying that, Lin Rei could not help but look at Xia Feng. He wanted her to agree. Do you agree? I agree. Clean and crisp. After hearing Lin Rei's words, Xia Feng did not hesitate and directly agreed. Didn't I say before? Even if you don't allow me to go to the ancient corpse depository, I will still return. After all, I am still waiting for you to follow me to the sacred world to take revenge on Hao Tian. Hearing this, Lin Rei shrugged helplessly. Alright, since you agree, then it's decided. Tomorrow, we will set off for the ancient corpse depository. Xia Feng nodded in agreement. However, thinking of that woman, Xia Feng could not help but ask, I am very curious. Why are there so many women around you? Furthermore, that woman outside is not simple. Oh. Not simple? Why is it not simple? Hearing her words, Lin Rei could not help but be shocked. TSK, I can feel the aura of the sacred world from her body. It's like this person has been living in the sacred world since she was young. Ha. Hearing this, Lin Rei laughed. Your guess is quite accurate. She is really from the sacred world? Previously, it was Lin Rei who was surprised, but now it was Xia Feng who was surprised. Although she could feel the aura of the sacred world from the girl's body, she could only feel a trace of it. But now, her identity as a person from the sacred world had been confirmed. That's right. She is from the sacred world, the Baron states Miss Hua. Xia Feng did not hide anything from Hua Yuan and directly revealed Hua Yuan's identity. At this moment, Lin Rei nodded and immediately told her how he met Hua Yuan and what happened after that without missing a single word. After a few minutes, Lin Rei finally opened his eyes and sighed. He said with a helpless expression, "Tell me, is there such a person?" She insisted on asking me for pills. If I didn't give them, she would stick to me. But later, I thought it through. Since she is willing to follow me, then let her follow me. After all, we have to enter the ancient corpse trove later. Make sure that her cultivation is at the great perfection late-stage God-Emperor realm. Although Lin Rei was talking, Xia Feng did not have the mood to listen to Lin Rei at this moment. At this moment, Xia Feng's eyes were shining. She stretched out her hand in front of Lin Rei and said, "Come, 9 revolution mixed energy pills. Such a good thing. Why didn't you give me some in the past? Really, you are not a good friend." Seeing Xia Feng's excitement, Lin Rei suddenly had the urge to continue talking. Damn, you can't be. You are so stingy. Chapter 748. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't know what to say. He didn't seem to have said anything just now, but now he was being blamed. Lin Rei, here, 10 revolutions mixed yuan pills. Without waiting for Xia Feng to speak again, Lin Rei took out 10 revolutions mixed yuan pills from the system and handed them to her. Although Lin Rei's face was calm and no expression could be seen, his heart began to bleed at this moment. After all, refining the 9 revolutions mixed yuan pills was 1 in a million. It was the best and could be casually taken out. It was enough to make the Sects fight to the death. He had forgotten before that Xia Feng was in the sage realm, so it was suitable for her to take the 9 revolutions mixed yuan pills. If he could remember this before, he was afraid that he would have mentioned the 9 revolutions mixed yuan pills. Only 10? At this moment, looking at the pills in front of her, Xia Feng's interest was instantly wiped out. She thought that there would be a lot more. What? Only 10? Originally, he was reluctant to part with the pills because of his heartache. Now, because of the small number, he was despised. For a moment, Lin Rei was even more speechless. Yes, just 10. Take it or leave it. It's good that you don't. When I reach the holy world, I'll eat it myself. With that, Lin Rei was about to withdraw his hand. But at this moment, Xia Feng immediately said, "Don't, I want it. I want it, okay?" With that, Xia Feng directly snatched the 9 revolutions mixed yuan pills from Lin Rei's hand. It's a waste if you don't want it. Anyway, there's only so much now. Every little bit of improvement is a little bit. What do you want me to say to you? Looking at Xia Feng's resigned look, Lin Rei suddenly became angry. Well, now that the pills have been given to you, we'll prepare to leave tomorrow and go to the ancient corpse trove. Alright, got it. Xia Feng could no longer listen to Lin Rei's words. Now that she had obtained the 9 revolution mixed yuan elixir, the only thing she wanted to do was quickly increase her cultivation. After all, he hadn't improved his cultivation base for tens of billions of years. He had to make up for the lost time as soon as possible. Otherwise, after entering the holy world, if she was not strong enough, it would be useless. Even if she faced Hao Tian, she would only be at his mercy. Of course, if time could go back, when she was still the Phoenix ancestor, she should have rushed to Hongjun and killed Haoyan. Then, there would be no such thing. Perhaps she was still in the saint's world, living a life of luxury, ruling over the entire Phoenix clan and throwing her weight around in the god's world. Of course, this was just a thought. How could there be a cycle in the world? Even if there was, it would only happen in a short period of time. It had been hundreds of millions of years since the untainted age. Even if there was a cycle of reincarnation, it would be impossible to return to that time. Alright, since it's settled, I'll go back first. With that, Lin Rei walked out of the room and headed back to his room. At this moment, Hua Yuan was following behind him. At this moment, she was like a security guard. It was as if she was ensuring his safety at all times. Lin Rei just smiled at Hua Yuan, then he sent a voice transmission to Chu Xi and Yun Kai's room. I've come out of seclusion. Come and see me quickly, huh? Where's the money? He's out? Young master is out. At this moment, the two people in the room woke up when they heard Lin Rei's voice transmission. Their hearts were filled with excitement at the first moment. Swoosh! Immediately, the two of them activated their cultivation base and rushed out of the room, rushing toward Lin Rei's room. It didn't take long for the two of them to reach Lin Rei's room in 2 breaths' time. When the two of them met, their eyes were filled with excitement and adoration. After all, the two of them were engaged. Now that they had been separated for more than 20 years, how could they not be excited? However, before their excitement, Lin Rei's matter was the most important. At the same time, this was what the two of them thought. Knock, knock, knock. At this moment, Chu Xi took the lead. She knocked on the door and opened it. Her movements were light, but the sound was loud. After that, the room was completely silent. There was no movement at all. The two of them were stunned. In fact, what they didn't know was that Lin Rei hadn't returned to his room, and there was no sign of Lin Rei in the room. At this moment, Lin Rei was still on his way back. He didn't expect that his words would make the two of them so excited. They didn't even need to walk, and directly teleported over. Knock, knock, knock. There was another series of knocks on the door. However, the result was the same as before. There was still no sound from the room. Immediately, the two of them stood on both sides of the door in confusion and respectfully, waiting for Lin Rei to open the door. They didn't understand. In less than a minute, just as the two of them were smiling and chatting, Lin Rei walked over from afar. Behind him was Hua Yuan. At this moment, Chu Xi sensed the figure in the distance. Instantly, she became excited. However, when she saw Hua Yuan behind Lin Rei, she was shocked. Hua Yuan? Why is she here? Hua Yuan? Her name is Hua Yuan? At this moment, after hearing her fiancé's words, Yun Kai locked her gaze on the beautiful woman behind Lin Rei. Instantly, her jealousy increased. Is she beautiful in his imagination? Beautiful. At this moment, Chu Xi didn't seem to think before speaking. Even she didn't know why she would say such a thing and answer such a question. However, the moment she finished speaking, the smile on Chu Xi's face turned bitter. Sigh. Looks like it won't be easy in the future. At this moment, Chu Xi was extremely depressed. He didn't think that he would say something like that. However, regarding the topic of Hua Yuan, the moment the two of them saw Lin Li, they stopped talking about it and respectfully greeted him. Chu Xi and Yun Kai greet young master. That's enough. There's no need for such formalities in the future. As he spoke, Lin Rei waved his hand at the two of them. Then, he pushed open the door and walked in. Yes, young master. The two of them, who had never disobeyed Lin Rei's orders, had already responded. However, their responses were always the same as before. Regarding this, Lin Rei was already used to it. After all, no matter if it was in the past, present, or future, everyone would be the same. Previously, after Lin Rei's nurturing, they had already changed. However, next time, everyone would return to their original starting point. Everyone arrived at the room. However, at this moment, an extra person also arrived. Regarding this, Lin Rei signaled to Chu Ci. Chu Ci received Lin Rei's message and nodded her head. She turned around and said to Hua Yuyin, "Fellow Hua, this is a conversation between our sections. You don't seem to be part of it. So, could you please leave first?" As soon as she heard this, the originally excited Hua Yuin's face turned cold. She couldn't bear to say anything and left immediately. Bam! After closing the door, at this moment, the room was finally empty. At this moment, looking at the two of them, Lin Rei spoke. "This time, I called you here to tell you that I will be heading to the ancient corpse trove tomorrow. What about you? Do you want to follow me or wait here? Of course, this is voluntary. There will be no coercion or threats. If you want to go, then go. If you don't want to go, then stay here. It's your choice. Young master, we will go. As long as you are there, we will be there. Have you thought it through?" Seeing them agree without thinking at all, Linley secretly felt a burst of delight. "Yes, I have." Chu Ci nodded her head. "Good, since that's the case, then it's decided. Tomorrow, we will head to the ancient corpse trove together. However, before that, I would like to verify your cultivation situation. Have you completed the task I gave you? Or rather, how is your progress? Is there any improvement?" "As expected." Hearing this, Chu Ci thought to herself. However, her face was full of smiles and confidence. "Good. Yes, you can." Seeing Chu Ci's confidence, Lin Rei smiled and said, "Since that's the case, then refine a pill for me that is your limit. But remember, it must be better than the pill refined in the alchemy conference. Until tomorrow morning. If you refine it well, I will reward you. If you don't, I will make you regret it every day for a period of time." At this moment, Chu Ci was speechless. However, he did not give up immediately. Instead, he nodded and agreed. "Okay, then young master, I will refine it here." "Yes, you can refine it." After saying that, Lin Rei did not pay attention to him. Instead, his gaze fell on Yunkai. Looking at her, Lin Rei asked, "How is it? How is the consolidation of your cultivation? Is the refining of the formation good?" Hearing this, Yunkai's face darkened. Then, she said in a low voice, "Young master, I am sorry. In the past 20 years, I have only consolidated my cultivation. As for the rest, I did not have time to do it." "Oh." After hearing Yunkai's reply, he released his divine sense and began to check the situation of the spiritual energy in Yunkai's body. After a few minutes, Lin Rei suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with gratification. "You did well. Although you have only consolidated your cultivation in the past 20 years, your foundation and the density of your spiritual energy is so high that even 3 great emperors would be no match for you. Of course, don't be arrogant because of this. You still have a long way to go. So, continue to work hard." After saying that, Lin Rei clenched his fist and raised it slightly. His face was cold as he said, "But before that, let me test your true strength." After saying that, Lin Li moved swiftly and decisively. He didn't waste any more words and immediately used the astral finger. Instantly, his sword finger was dyed with a golden color. Like a sharp sword, it carried a terrifying pressure as it shot towards Yun. Its speed was so fast that it completely surpassed Yun's vision and the 5 senses of Linli's divine sense. "You've lost." At this moment, before Yunkai could even react, in the next instant, Yunkai felt a murderous aura gathering around her throat. Then, a figure walked out from behind her. This person was Lin Li. At this moment, Lin Rei's finger was already at Yunkai's throat. If it was half an inch closer and he used a little more force, Yunkai would have died. Young master, Yun Kai panicked. In the face of death, no matter what, even Lin Rei himself would panic. Just now, in order to let Yun Kai experience death, Lin Rei had already released his murderous aura. Now you know why I want you to cultivate. In fact, cultivation is a personal matter. The reason I want you to cultivate is so that you can have the strength to protect yourselves in the divine world. So, work hard. Your talent is not to be underestimated. In the future, purify the spiritual energy in your body. That way, your spiritual energy will be more powerful in the future. Just like me now. With that, Lin Rei withdrew his stellar finger and went to the side without saying anything. At this moment, Yun Kai also chose to remain silent. However, the difference was that after listening to Lin Rei's words, Yun Kai directly sat on the ground and began to comprehend the concept that she had just experienced. The child is worth teaching. Seeing one of them refining pills and the other cultivating, he had nothing to do, so he entered the system. After arriving at the scripture pavilion, he began to search for more powerful battle techniques. Time slowly passed. With Lin Rei's investigation and the others cultivating, the night passed in the blink of an eye. The next morning, Chu Ci, who was refining pills, had already lost her red complexion and was replaced by a pale white color. Wang. A white light instantly shot out of the pill furnace. At this moment, Chu Ci, who was originally tense, completely relaxed. However, because of the excessive spiritual energy and mental energy in the pill furnace, Chu Ci directly fell backward the moment she relaxed her nerves. I finally succeeded in refining. At this moment, although Chu Ci's face was pale, it was full of smiles. You refined it? The moment Chu Ci collapsed, Lin Rei, who had been searching for battle techniques in the scripture pavilion, knew that the next day had arrived. Then, he walked out of the system. Unexpectedly, the moment he did, he sensed that Chu Ci had succeeded in refining the pill. Yes, young master. The pill that I refined can be considered to be a low-grade grandmaster pill, the Vajra pill. Oh. Vajra pill. Hearing the name of the pill that Chu Ci had refined, Lin Rei was stunned. He knew that the Vajra pill could be said to be very difficult to refine. Even a mid-grade grandmaster alchemist might not be able to refine it in a day. Thinking about it, Lin Rei, who was a little skeptical, pointed his right hand at the pill furnace. Suddenly, a suction force appeared. Whoosh! Suddenly, a golden pill rushed out of the pill furnace and landed perfectly in Lin Rei's hand. When he looked at the pill in his hand and saw that it was really the Vajra pill, he knew that Chu Ci had become a grandmaster alchemist. Chapter 749. Lin Rei's eyes were filled with gratification. After all, he was the only venerable grade alchemist in the sect. Everyone else was still growing and couldn't be of much use. But now, they had Chu Ci, an ancestor grade alchemist. Although he was still a primary grade alchemist, his name alone was enough to match 10 emperor grade alchemists. Not bad. He smiled appreciatively and walked over to Chu Ci's side, squatting down. Seeing his weak appearance, Lin Rei sighed inwardly. He's still a little too eager. It seems I'll have to find an opportunity to refine some pills that can increase his spiritual power. Lin Rei took out a recovery pill from his ring and stuffed it into Chu Ci's mouth. He then circulated his spiritual energy and placed his palm on Chu Ci's chest, slowly helping him refine the tyrannical medicinal energy of the pill. Even though he was a middle-stage god emperor, and was indeed a giant in the eyes of others, he was nothing in front of the pills concocted by Lin Li. Whether it was in terms of alchemy or cultivation, he couldn't compare to Lin Rei. At this moment, Yun Kai, who had been cultivating to the side, had already woken up. She was guarding Chu Ci, not leaving his side for even an inch. Looking at Yun Kai, Lin Rei nodded. All right, he's fine now. He'll be fine after eating the pill. Lin Rei withdrew his hand from Chu Ci's chest and stood up. He didn't want to disturb the two and directly walked out. However, when Lin Rei reached the door, he seemed to have thought of something. He stopped and said, "Oh right, when you're done resting, quickly come to the dining room in front. Xie Feng and I will wait for you." With a bang, the door closed and Lin Rei's figure disappeared from the room. At this moment, Yun Kai, who was in the room, carried Shu Xi and placed him on the bed. She then waited for him to wake up. She was also an alchemist, so she knew what it felt like to overexert one's spiritual power. After coming out of the room, Lin Rei walked on the path to eat. The two sides of the path were no longer as damaged by him as before. At this moment, the two sides of the path were filled with colorful jokes. It was very beautiful and moving. On the road, the fragrance of flowers floated in the air. When one smelled it, it gave one a feeling of lingering and forgetting to go back. In addition to the house that he created with his magic, the scene at this moment could be described as a paradise on earth. However, even in this paradise on earth, Lin Rei was helpless. It was not because of anything else, but because when he came out of the room, the little tail behind him followed him again. The person Little Tail was referring to was none other than Hua Yuan. Not for anything else, but for the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellet. Lin Rei felt very helpless about this. He had also tried to persuade her to leave. After all, although he had met her once, there was no interaction between them. Friends? No, not really. Brother. That's not right either. Gender, lover. That's even more wrong. Lin Rei did not love her. The only thing that could make Lin Rei think of was a stranger. Moreover, it was a very annoying stranger. Sensing Hua Yuan behind him, Lin Rei turned around and rolled his eyes at her. His face was full of helplessness. "I say, can you not follow me? Look at you. You're a good girl. Why are you following a married man like me? What's going on? Moreover, I've already told you before. I've already given all the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellets to Xie Feng. I really don't have any more now. If you want, you can go and find Xie Feng. Of course, it depends on whether you can beat her or not. Moreover, we're leaving here today and going to the ancient corpse vault. There are many strong cultivators in there, and there are also quite a number of hierarch realm cultivators. Tell me, you, I don't mind." Hua Yuan interrupted. At this moment, Lin Rei was stunned. Ancient corpse vault? I'm very interested. I heard that it's a place of no return. Who knows, we might be able to find some special divine medicine or even sacred medicine. Don't you think so? As soon as she said that, Lin Rei was instantly defeated. He finally understood the true meaning of the idiom pestering. Hua Yuan, on the other hand, was a person who was made for pestering others. At this moment, Lin Rei no longer asked her to leave. Since she wanted to go to the ancient corpse vault, then let her go. Anyway, once they were inside, it would be fine if she didn't affect him. If she did, he could even kill and bury the corpse. Alright, since you're willing to follow me, then follow me. After saying that, Lin Rei no longer cared about Hua Yuan. Immediately, he turned around and quickened his pace. At this moment, in Xie Feng's room, Xie Feng was sitting on the bed. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, revealing a charming smile. I'm finally out. After saying that, Xie Feng hurriedly stood up and tidied up her messy clothes. Then, she opened the door and walked out. After that, she walked towards Lin Rei's location. Waiter, bring all the specialties here. Also, bring a few jugs of wine. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had just entered the restaurant, looked at the waiter and ordered. Okay, please wait a moment. After hearing Lin Rei's name, the waiter became excited and hurriedly walked to the back. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had finished ordering, came to an empty table by the window and sat down. He ignored Hua Yuan and sat down. Then, he turned his head towards the window and instantly released his sense of hearing. He began to inquire about the interesting things that happened during this period of time when he was in closed-door cultivation. Dao friend, have you heard? the 7 sects have all moved out. The leaders are all late god emperors. Furthermore, there are rumors that for the opening of the ancient corpse vault, some old undying people have all come out of closed-door cultivation. Their purpose is to obtain the corpse core from the corpse king of the ancient corpse vault. Oh. Is there such a thing? At this moment, this conversation entered Lin Rei's ears. Immediately, Lin Rei's interest was piqued. He listened to their discussion with great interest. Speaking of which, I don't know where the rumor came from. It says that the corpse core can increase one's lifespan, improve one's cultivation, and various other benefits. Look, those old undying people can no longer improve after cultivating to the Tao's sovereign realm. You have to know that it has been hundreds of thousands of years in the divine world to reach the saint realm. And those old undying people's lifespan is about to reach its end. Some of them are already dead, but they insist on using divine medicine to prolong their lives. How can they give up on such a good thing when they hear that it can increase their lifespan? Damn, this, interesting. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was in the restaurant, laughed. His face was full of interest. Why didn't I know that the corpse core can increase one's lifespan? At this moment, Lin Rei was both interested and puzzled. He couldn't understand how the corpse core could be related to lifespan. Nonsense. Isn't this nonsense? Just as Lin Rei was curious and puzzled, the system's angry voice exploded directly in Lin Rei's ears. Oh. What is the function of the corpse core? He knew that the system must know something about it. The corpse core can be a kind of pill called the heavenly corpse core. This kind of pill can control all the people who have swallowed it. Of course, this kind of pill, with your current Dan realm, Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei was speechless. However, out of curiosity, he directly deleted the unpleasant words and began to ask what he was interested in. Besides refining the heavenly corpse core, is there any other use? For example, increasing one's cultivation, or... Don't guess blindly. Before Lin Rei finished speaking, the system directly cut him off. The corpse core has only one use, and that is to refine the heavenly corpse core. It has no other use. Oh, no, it has another use. Oh. What is it? Lin Rei asked excitedly. It is the corpse core. In addition to refining the heavenly corpse core, it can also be used as a poison, and its medicinal effect is very strong. Even you can't cure it. At this moment, Lin Rei did not pay attention to the system's words. At the same time, after listening to the system's words, he knew that the conversation between the two people just now was pure nonsense. There was no such thing at all. However, if there was no such thing, then where did these rumors come from? Was all this too coincidental? The coincidence made Lin Rei feel that someone had arranged this in advance. Interesting, really interesting. Lin Rei muttered. Well? What's interesting? Just as Lin Rei was muttering, Xia Feng's voice suddenly came. After hearing Lin Rei's voice, he quickly came back to his senses. At this moment, Xia Feng had already sat down beside him. Looking at her, Lin Rei told her what he had just learned. A few minutes later, Xia Feng frowned, and her face was full of coldness. Who is doing this? Even I don't know what the corpse core is used for. How could someone spread such a rumor? I don't know, but don't you think that this matter is getting more and more interesting? He said with interest in his voice. Hearing this, Xia Feng was stunned for a moment, then smiled. That's right, such a coincidence can attract so many people's attention. It seems that after this time, there will be a big reshuffle of the situation here. Yes. Lin Rei, who understood Xia Feng's meaning, nodded in agreement. Then, the two of them returned to silence. At this moment, Hua Yuyin, who was sitting opposite them, was stunned. Looking at the two of them talking to each other, she was speechless. However, due to Xia Feng's strength, Hua Yuyin didn't act rashly. Instead, she sat aside quietly and waited for the dishes to arrive. I'm sorry, everyone. There are too many people in the shop today, and we have neglected you. This is the mysterious rain wine that our shopkeeper has specially prepared for you as an apology. Please try it first. The dishes will be sent to you in a moment. What do you think? Just when the situation was extremely awkward, the waiter's voice was heard. At the same time, a fragrant smell drifted over. Sure. At this moment, Lin Rei only heard the waiter say that the wine was to be sent. He didn't hear the rest, because at this moment, Lin Rei's eyes were locked on the mysterious rain wine in the waiter's hands. Chapter 750. His eyes were full of passion, his throat was moving, and his face was full of desire. Looking at this scene, Xia Feng covered her face and turned her body to the side as if she didn't know him. Not only Xia Feng, but even Hua Yuyin had the same reaction as Xia Feng. Both of them didn't expect Lin Rei to behave like this. However, Xia Feng was slightly better. After all, she knew that Lin Rei was a complete drunkard. As long as he found the wine in a shop to be especially delicious, he would disregard his own safety and plunder everything. At this moment, Xia Feng silently mourned for the shop owner in her heart. Sigh. I hope this guy won't plunder all the wine in this shop like he did in the past. However, although she acted as if she didn't know Lin Rei, her nose was attracted by the mysterious rain wine. After all, she loved wine very much. Especially after smelling the wine's aroma, she wanted to taste it even more. Okay, please wait a moment. I'll give you breast milk now. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the waiter placed the wine on the table and turned around to leave. Hee, there's wine to drink. Seeing that the waiter had left, Lin Rei fixed his eyes on the wine again. Then, he reached out and grabbed the wine, tilting his head back and drinking. Gulp, gulp, this was the so-called gulp. Hearing the sound of Lin Rei drinking, Xia Feng turned around and watched as Lin Rei finished the wine bit by bit. For a moment, she couldn't help but say. Don't drink anymore. Leave some for me. When Hua Yuyin heard Xia Feng's words, she rolled her eyes to express everything. Here. Hearing Xia Feng's words, Lin Rei directly handed the wine bottle to Xia Feng and shared it with her. After all, they were friends who went through thick and thin together. He could still afford to give her something like this. Okay. Looking at the bottle of wine, Xia Feng didn't refuse. She took the wine and started drinking. The way she drank was similar to how Lin Rei drank before. A bottle of wine was quickly finished by the two of them. At this time, the dishes were served. Looking at the dazzling array of dishes, Lin Rei said, "Hurry up and eat. After we finish eating, we'll prepare to head to the ancient corpse trove." After saying that, he no longer paid any attention to the crowd. Instead, he lowered his head and picked up a dish to eat. At this moment, his appearance shocked Xia Feng and Lin Lei. It was not because of anything else, but because Lin Rei's head was almost stuck to the plate. In the process of being stunned, Lin Rei had already finished one plate at an extremely fast speed. Then, he grabbed another plate and began to eat. Just like that, plate after plate of food was served. When the evil phoenix saw that the dishes were about to run out, he rolled up his sleeves and began to eat. Regarding the actions of Lin Rei and Xia Feng, Hua Yuyin was very surprised. She couldn't imagine that such a strong person would have such a strange scene. And just as they were eating, Chu Xi and Xia Feng, who had fainted because of the alchemy, came to the table and then joined in the vortex. This scene, the actions of the four people, not only caused Hua Yuyin to be shocked, but also attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Everyone's expression was the same as Hua Yuyin's. During the meal, Lin Rei's mind went into the system and found the place where the Pai Xiu was, which he had never visited before. Ever since he took a drop of the Pai Xiu's blood essence, he had never visited it again. At this moment, he came to the system space where the Pai Xiu was. Looking at it, he saw a monster's body that was hundreds of feet tall appear in his darkness. Damn, it can't be. I just didn't come in for a while and it grew to such a level. Looking at the huge body, Lin Rei was shocked. Linley wasn't just shocked by the Pai Shio's body, he was even more shocked by the Pai Shio's cultivation. At this moment, the Pai Shio's cultivation had already recovered to the middle stage of the hierarch realm. Its entire body was emitting a terrifying aura and pressure. Even Linley, who had just seen it, was stunned. Woo! Suddenly, the originally sleeping Pai Shio, after sensing Linley's aura, slowly woke up, and a beast roar that shook the heavens spread throughout the entire space. Lin Rei, who had been listening to the beast's roar the whole time, suddenly rolled his eyes. It was enough to express everything he wanted to say. "You little brat, do you know that it's very inhumane for you to put me here?" Suddenly, the Pai Shio opened its mouth. However, the words it said were very tiring with its current identity and the pressure it exerted before. It was like the soul of a loafer and the body of a superior. This difference made Lin Rei stunned. What's wrong? Can't speak? Seeing Lin Rei's silence, the Pai Shio continued to pursue. This. At this moment, Lin Rei was really in the wrong. When he saved Pai Shio before, he said that he would only let Pai Shio follow him for a few hundred years. But now, Pai Shio had been locked up here for almost a few thousand years. Looking at the Pai Shio, Lin Rei opened his mouth to negotiate. "Brother Pai Shio, you see, I had something to do before, so I won't come. But I saw something too. No, I don't want to do it." Pai Shio had basically figured out Lin Rei's nature after so many years. In the Pai Shio's heart, Lin Rei was a shameless person, but he was a righteous person who kept his oath. However, for Lin Rei's shamelessness and his oath, the Pai Shio had already experienced it. When he saw Lin Rei just now, the Pai Shio's right eyelid began to twitch wildly. As the saying goes, one doesn't visit a temple without a cause. Now that Lin Rei came, he must have something to say. Sure enough, just when the Pai Shio was thinking, Lin Rei opened his mouth and said exactly the same as him. Then, he immediately said the three-nose policy that he had thought of before. "So sure?" Looking at the Pai Shio's straightforward refusal, for a moment, Lin Rei asked awkwardly. "Yes, I'm so sure, you." Seeing that the Pai Shio was so stubborn, Lin Rei was silent. "The last time you came, you asked me to give you a drop of blood essence. You said that the thing that you can say must not be a small matter, so it's normal that I don't agree." Facing Lin Rei's silence, the Pai Shio panicked. Although he said the three-nose policy, he was a bit uncertain about Lin Rei. After all, Lin Rei was the kind of person who farts silently, and every time, it was a big fart. Listening to the words of the Pai Shio, Lin Rei thought about it and then took out a 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan. Since this pill was useful for Xia Feng, it would be even more useful for the Pai Shio. Sure enough, as soon as the pill was taken out, the medicinal fragrance drifted in the air. The Pai Shio's body suddenly stood up and whispered with a shocked face, 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan? This is 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan, yes, it must be. As he said, his eyes locked on the small pill in Lin Rei's hand. It really is. At this moment, the Pai Shio smiled with surprise. The 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan could be said to be of great use to him. How could he not like it? Give it to me, whatever you want, I will agree to it as long as you supply me with the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan. Thinking of the previous Pai Shio's unyielding appearance, for a moment, after thinking about it, Lin Rei had the urge to laugh out loud. However, seeing that the Pai Shio finally agreed, Lin Rei quickly said, "Well, as long as you agree, I will give you the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan." Whoosh! As soon as his voice fell, a white wave of air instantly came out of the Pai Shio's mouth, and then instantly came in front of Lin Rei, rolled up the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan in Lin Rei's hand, and finally accurately fell into the mouth of the Pai Shio. Phew! Awesome! At this moment, the Pai Shio was very satisfied, but he was very curious about how Lin Rei refined such a high-grade pill. "How did you refine the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan?" "As far as I know, only that old fart Hong Jun has this kind of pill." "You, Hong Jun?" Old fart? Hearing the question of the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei was stunned. He knew about Hong Jun. Now, the enemy said that he was old fart. However, Lin Rei did not stay on this question for long, and immediately explained, I got this by accident, you don't have to care about the rest, you just need to know that I can give you what you want, that's enough. Hearing this, the Pai Xiu nodded his head. That's true. Tell me, what do you want me to do? It's very simple, drag us to the ancient corpse depository, then the deal between us will be over, what do you think? Lin Rei said his plan. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the Pai Xiu hesitated, he did not expect Lin Rei to ask such a question. As a member of the untainted tribe, born by heaven and earth, he had a noble status, but now he was being ridden by a small emperor god cultivator, this made him lose face. However, when he thought of the 9 revolutions Hunyuan Dan, the so-called face disappeared. Thinking of this, the Pai Xiu agreed. Okay, it's settled. Good. In that case, I'll let you out in a while, and then take us to the ancient corpse depository at the fastest speed. The Pai Xiu agreed, and Lin Rei was very happy. Immediately, his divine sense exited the system. At this moment, in the outside world, the meal was over. Looking at everyone's enjoyment, Lin Rei said, okay, since everyone is full, let's go. In response to Lin Rei's words, everyone nodded in agreement. Looking at everyone, Lin Rei nodded with a smile, and then asked Chu Ci to pay. The moment Lin Rei and the others walked out of the restaurant, they flew up into the sky. Come out. The next moment, a huge monster appeared in the sky. Immediately, the area under the huge monster was covered by its shadow, and it became dark. Hiss. That is? Oh my god, what is that thing? The moment everyone saw the Pai Xiu, they began to talk about it. Even Xie Feng, Chu Ci, Yun Kai, and the rogue Hua Yuan, who were beside Lin Rei, could not help but be shocked when they saw the Pai Xiu. Pai Xiu. At this time, Xie Feng, who had recovered, revealed the identity of the Pai Xiu. Lin Rei was not surprised by this, after all, they were the first creatures in the untainted land. Okay, let's not talk about it, let's leave quickly. Instead of answering Xie Feng's question directly, he took Xie Feng and the other 2 and disappeared instantly. When they reappeared, they were already on the back of the Pai Xiu. As for Hua Yuan, she was still in the same place, looking dazed, and did not come to her senses. Okay, let's go. At this time, the Pai Xiu, who had been waiting for a long time, heard Lin Rei's words and instantly disappeared into the sky. Chapter 751. You guys, at this moment, when Linli and the rest had disappeared, Hua Yuan regained her senses. She could no longer see Linli and the rest of them. In the end, in order to catch up to Lin Rei, Hua Yuan used all her strength, stepping on lotuses and pushing her movement technique to the extreme. High Sky City was the only large city next to the ancient corpse burial ground. Originally, this place was empty, and no one came here. After all, there were no cultivation resources, and no sects, except for the original residents. However, every few thousand years, there would always be a period of time when this ghost town would be very lively. It would be a boiling cauldron of voices, and flowers would bloom like a brocade. Today, the city was bustling with people and carriages. During this period of time, various forces had gathered from all directions. Regardless of whether they were third-grade sects or first-grade sects, they all had to rush in. Immediately, all the restaurants and inns in Linkhong City were filled with people. The Rain Sect, the Sword Sect, the Tool Sect, the Array Sect, and even the Pill Sect, which was ranked at the bottom of the 7 sects, brought their people into Sky City. At this time, in Sky City, in the largest restaurant, Storm House, a very funny and interesting thing happened. At this time, a disciple wearing the Rain Sect's uniform walked into the restaurant. Seeing that it was full of people, he was stunned and said to the waiter, "Hey, hurry up and find us a seat. Let us eat, hurry up." At this moment, the water sect's disciple's strong aura made the waiter's legs tremble. He turned around to see if there was an empty seat. Sure enough, the result was in front of him. Then, with an embarrassed smile, he turned around and apologized to the water sect's disciple. "I'm sorry, sir. As you can see, our restaurant is full, so, of course, if you want to wait, you can wait for a while. After everyone finishes eating, you can go up. I just don't know if you can wait." The attitude of the water school's disciples had already affected the people eating on the first floor. The entire first floor quieted down. Everyone's eyes were on the water school disciples, some of them full of mockery. Some of their eyes were filled with disdain, and some of their eyes were filled with disgust. Of course, there were also those whose eyes were filled with fear. The water sect had a transcendent status in the god realm, and wasn't something that small sects like theirs could compare to. When the water sect members heard what the waiter said, their expressions grew even more ferocious. They looked like they wanted to kill someone. "Bastard. We're disciples of the water school. Aren't you afraid that the water school will kill you all?" An outspoken and narrow-minded person from the water sect ignored the gazes of the crowd and the face of the Stormwind House's owner. He shut his mouth and threatened the Stormwind House owner. Regarding this point, everyone's expression changed at this moment and became unified. The original ridicule, disdain, and disgust all turned into the attitude of watching a show. They all knew that although the owner of Stormwind House wasn't part of the 7 sects, she was still very strong. After all, in the god realm, if someone mentioned the jade-faced Rakshasa, they'd think of her as the owner of Stormwind House. Stormwind House had charged into a first-rank sect all by herself, and no one had been able to stop her. "Humph, your water school really does have a lot of face now. You don't even put me in your eyes. It looks like those old bastards have forgotten about me after all these years of seclusion." Just as the atmosphere became extremely awkward and quiet, an extremely enchanting woman walked down the stairs. Her face was full of charm, and her body was curvaceous. She gave off an exquisite feeling. However, it was precisely this kind of woman that caused everyone's gazes to be filled with admiration and adoration the moment she appeared. That included the water school disciples. "Who the fuck do you think you are? What right do you have to speak? Who do you think you are? Aren't you just a toy for us to play with? Seriously." After a pang sound, the young man who had been cursing in a particularly carefree manner was instantly sent flying. The instant he was sent flying, while he was still in the air, he had already lost all signs of life and turned into an ice-cold corpse. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. It was rumored that when the jade-faced Rakshasa attacked, corpses would litter the ground. No one even knew how she did it. Now that they'd seen it for themselves, they knew that the rumors weren't baseless. "You." The water school disciple looked at his junior brother who'd been sent flying. When he sensed no signs of life, he was shocked. At the same time, he remembered that the jade-faced Rakshasa was the reason Stormwind House had been able to stand for so long. However, he regretted that it was too late. They had completely offended the woman in front of them. "Humph. I've been in power for many years. I didn't think I'd be taken advantage of by a bunch of brats. Haha. How laughable." The jade-faced Rakshasa's voice was cold. "Madam, I think your punishment was a bit light. If it were up to me, we should have just killed them all. Wouldn't that be enough?" "That's right, madam. Look at those shifty eyes. It's obvious the water school didn't teach them well. Why don't we just let them die here so they don't pollute the air of the god realm?" "Ha ha ha. Well said. The water school is nothing more than that. They're complete idiots." The water sect members' faces were ashen, and their hearts were burning with rage. "What's going on?" Bai Xiaochun's face was ashen, and his eyes were filled with rage. Those who were able to make it here were all elites of their sections. They had never suffered such humiliation in their sections. Now, after hearing the discussions of the crowd and the killing intent of the jade-faced Rakshasa, they wanted to vent their anger. However, they couldn't because the person standing in front of them was an expert of the same generation as their elders. He was a mountain that they couldn't cross yet. The water school disciples could only grit their teeth and swallow their anger. In the end, they could only wait until they were strong enough to get their revenge. But now, they could only bow and apologize. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, Senior Azura. We were rash and didn't consider your opinions. We'll leave now. Enjoy your meal. With that said, Shui Zongxin left Stormwind House in front of everyone's eyes. Ha ha ha. Laughter erupted from the mouths of the Water Sect members as soon as they emerged from the Gale Rain Tavern. The sound caused the faces of the Water Sect members to turn as red as pig liver, and their hearts to fill with resentment and hatred. Humph. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I'll be back for revenge. The young man from the water school turned, glared at the Stormwind House signboard, and then left with his people. Young master, what do we do next? At this moment, Chu Ci, seated by the window on the second floor of Stormwind Manor, was asking Linley for instructions. Heh. Let's wait and see. The ancient corpse vault hasn't opened yet, and all the sects are stirring. I don't want to appear in front of them so soon. It's best if Ning Yuan doesn't know I've been here. That way, I can sneak in, take the 10 treasures, and leave. Lin Rei and the others were sitting on the second floor. Hua Yinghua wasn't among them. More than 2 months had passed since Linley left Jade City. In these 2 months, the Pai Shiu's group had crossed several continents before finally arriving at the closest city to the ancient corpse trove. In the past few days, Lin Rei's life had been rich and exciting. Apart from cultivating on the Pai Shiu's back, he spent the rest of his time refining pills. In the past 2 months alone, Linley had refined hundreds of 9 revolutions mixed energy pills. However, he didn't use a single one. Instead, he gave all of them to the demonic phoenix, as well as the Pai Shiu that carried them. Of course, in the beginning, the Pai Shiu and the demonic phoenix had nearly come to blows over the pills. But for some reason, in the end, the two of them came to an agreement that each of them wanted half of the pills that Linley had refined. Linley didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this, but he couldn't refuse. In the end, he could only smile bitterly and nod. Although he didn't want to, he still had to do it. After all, the refinement process of the 9 revolutions mixed energy pill and the spiritual ingredients required were astronomical prices, yet they had been refined for 2 months. If this happened in the saints' world, there would probably be a few saints who would become restless and fight over them. After all, chaotic chi was not something that could be easily obtained in the saints' world. Apart from a few powerful figures from a few sects who could obtain it, others could only cultivate in the saints' world spiritual energy to strengthen their own cultivation. Actually, in my opinion, we might as well go straight into the ancient corpse vault. The sudden words attracted Lin Rei's attention. At this moment, the person who spoke was Xie Feng. You want to go straight in? You have to know that the ancient corpse vault hasn't opened yet. You. Lin Rei was puzzled. Sigh. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Xie Feng sighed helplessly and said, so what if it hasn't opened? Have you forgotten that although it's sealed, it's just talismans and formations? No matter how wrong it is, it's just a restriction. I don't believe that with your current level of formations, you can't break it. Of course, even if you can't break it now, it's still better than doing it here. After Xie Feng's words, Lin Rei was stunned and fell silent. That's right. The seal is at most made up of formations or talismans. With my current level, maybe I can really break it? As he thought about this, for the sake of getting more information, Linley's divine will entered his system and began to ask questions. System, tell me. If I'm now, can I break the seal outside the ancient corpse vault? Lin Rei stopped talking. After a while, the system spoke. I don't know. I haven't seen the ancient corpse vault and don't know how strong the restriction outside is, so, Hearing this, Lin Rei smiled awkwardly and continued, it doesn't matter if you haven't seen it. According to your imagination, if I can break the seal outside the ancient corpse vault, what are the chances? At this time, the system was speechless and didn't say anything. In this regard, Lin Rei looked at the system and didn't have any further confirmation. Finally, he fell silent. Alright, since that's the case, I'll leave first. I'll see when I reach the ancient corpse vault. After saying that, he instantly exited the system and returned to his body. At this moment, he made a decision. He would go to the ancient corpse vault first. No matter if he could break it, or not, there was no harm in going first. After all, there was an old saying that the early bird gets the worm. Lin Rei believed that this saying was well-founded. Alright, since that's the case, we'll go to the ancient corpse vault later and break the seal. I'd like to see how strong this seal is. Don't be fooled by Lin Li's self-confidence. Beneath his confident exterior, however, was an extremely guilty conscience. Although he felt that his own level of insight was very high, for him to be able to break through a Tibetan seal, one could imagine how powerful the seal was. Of course, the only way to reach the ancient corpse vault was to cross the entire Sky Mountain range. In this mountain range, there were all kinds of demonic beasts. Some people even said that in the important areas of the Sky Mountain range, there were a few godly venerable level demonic beasts. No matter if it was strength, physical body, or realm, they were all very strong. Moreover, the demonic beast's great Tao would reach a certain level and become a human, just like Xie Feng, no different from ordinary people. Yes. All right. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the three of them nodded and agreed. They were not willing to bring too many people here. After all, there were too many people here. If they were to bump into that familiar person, then trouble would come one after another. This was something that Lin Rei did not want to see happen. It was also something that they did not want to see happen. Young master, Hua Yuan, what do you plan to do? Should he wait? Or do we just leave? The sudden words made Lin Rei, Chu Xi, and Xie Feng completely stunned on the spot. They looked at Yun Kai as if she was an idiot. It was as if they did not expect that a smart Yun Kai would ask such a stupid question. Oh, no, we didn't plan to bring her along. Since she didn't follow us, that's great. We can finally have some peace, isn't it? Hee, that's right. That good girl is simply a follower, a dog skin plaster. Once she sticks to you, you can't get rid of her even if you want to. Chapter 752. At this moment, everyone thought that getting rid of Hua Yuan was the right decision. After all, she was not one of them, and it would be inappropriate for them to do some secret things with her around. Alright, let's eat and leave. After saying that, everyone started eating. The meal was finished in less than 10 minutes. Looking at them, Lin Rei stood up and said, "Let's go. We can't stay here for long." After saying that, he went downstairs and walked towards the western city gate without waiting for them. Right at this moment, Chu Xi, who understood Lin Li's intentions, hurriedly followed behind him. After persuading the payment counter downstairs, he didn't say anything, just took out 10,000 mid-grade divine crystals, tossed them to the counter, and left. He did not care if he had given too much. At this moment, he was not in the mood to do so. Lin Rei was already nowhere to be seen. At the exit of the storm house, Chu Xi circulated his cultivation and used his lightning-fast footwork. He turned into a ray of light and disappeared on the path to the western city gate. At this moment, Lin Rei had already arrived at the western city gate with Xie Feng and Yun Kai by his side. Why isn't he here yet? He stopped and turned around, looking in the direction he had come from. He was speechless. At this moment, Xie Feng also frowned at Lin Rei's words, but her words were gentle and tactful. Maybe he was delayed by something. I'm sure he'll be back soon. Let's wait a little longer. Swoosh, suddenly, a ray of light appeared in front of everyone's eyes and rushed towards them. At this moment, everyone's faces were filled with joy, and they immediately turned and walked out of the city. Swoosh, huff, huff. We finally caught up. Finally, the moment Lin Rei and the others stepped out of the city gate, Chu Xi finally caught up with them. He was panting heavily, as if he was very tired. Looking at Chu Ci behind him, Lin Rei became excited and teased him, your cultivation is still not enough. Moreover, your body is probably not as strong as my disciples. Chu Ci fell silent with an awkward expression. At this time, Lin Rei was also silent. Speaking of which, he hadn't seen them for a long time. Speaking of which, he was really incompetent as a master. It had been at least a few thousand years since he had taken them in as his disciples. The time he had spent by their side, teaching them cultivation methods, battle tactics, and other similar things was not long at all. That was especially true considering that they had all come from the profound heaven continent. They didn't have any relatives here. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's heart suddenly began to ache. Sigh. I wonder how they are doing. Have their cultivations improved? Have they been bullied? How are they doing in the sect? All of these questions popped up one after another. His originally excited mood disappeared at this moment, and it was replaced by endless sadness and longing. Of course, he knew that this would be futile. Therefore, he forcefully suppressed this feeling in his heart. After all, before he could return to their side and teach them cultivation methods and battle tactics quietly, he had to have the ability to conquer this world. Thinking of this, Lin Rei became even more determined. His path was not wrong. Furthermore, no matter how great the dangers and obstacles ahead of him were, he would overcome them with determination. Just like this, the group exited the city gate and flew towards the west. After 3 days and 3 nights, they finally arrived at the entrance of the Sky Mountain Range on the evening of the 4th day. At this moment, the moment Lin Rei and the others arrived at the entrance of the Sky Mountain Range, a series of earth-shattering roars of beasts came from the mountain range. However, from the sound, everyone could feel that these roaring beasts were not a threat to them at all. Instead, they would become food to satisfy their cravings. After all, at their level, they no longer needed to consume food to improve their cultivation. The reason why they ate was because of their cravings and enjoyment. After all, eating was a very blissful and joyful thing. They would not miss this opportunity. Looking at the Sky Mountain Range, Lin Rei's eyes glowed with golden light. A streak of crystal-clear liquid flowed out from the corner of his mouth uncontrollably. Fresh beast meat. I really want to have one now. At this moment, Xia Feng and the others rolled their eyes and were filled with helplessness after hearing Lin Rei's words. Looking at the young master that he had acknowledged, Chu Ci let out a long sigh. However, he had to admit that after hearing Lin Rei's words, he was unnaturally convinced and looked as though he wanted to give it a try. Let's go. If you want to eat, I'll let you have your fill inside. At this moment, Xia Feng said after seeing how hungry the two of them were. Her body turned into a gust of wind and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Oh. Competing in speed? Seeing Xia Feng's movement technique, Lin Rei's heart was moved and he wanted to compete with her. You're going to catch up. If one of you is last, then. I'm sorry, but you'll have to prepare the barbecue later. Whoosh, after saying that, I didn't give the two of them a chance to react and disappeared on the spot just like Xia Feng. At this moment, it could be said that Linli was moving at full speed, all for the sake of keeping up with the evil phoenix. Sigh. Seeing the two of them disappear, Chu Ci smiled bitterly. Let's go. No matter what, I'm the one who will suffer in the end. Pfft. Looking at her fiancé, Yun Kai burst into laughter. She agreed with Chu Ci's words very much. Chu Ci was very obedient to her words. Okay, let's go. Seeing his fiancé's smile, Chu Ci chuckled and pulled her hand. He chased after Lin Rei and Xia Feng's aura and spiritual energy with all his strength. Whoosh, whoosh, at this moment, in the Sky Mountain Range, 2 streaks of light flashed. The two of them were almost on par, but the red light was slightly faster. Sigh. It's still the difference in strength. If I could reach the same level as her, I'm sure I wouldn't be any weaker than her. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was filled with disappointment as he looked at Xia Feng, who was ahead faster than him. At the same time, because of this matter, Lin Rei used this matter to encourage himself to work hard and surpass Xia Feng as soon as possible. Not bad, kid. At this time, the red light was Xia Feng, who was ahead faster than Lin Rei. Feeling Lin Rei's aura behind her, Xia Feng looked back at him with a face full of praise. It's already very good that you can have this kind of speed. I believe that the Reverend God Realm is no longer a threat to you. There. I'm still not as fast as you. Hearing Xia Feng's words, Lin Rei said truthfully. However, he agreed with Xia Feng's words. His speed had indeed surpassed the Reverend God Realm. Moreover, Lin Rei believed that his cultivation was definitely not weaker than the Reverend God Realm. At the very least, he was not afraid of the late Reverend God Realm. However, he was not confident that he could defeat the perfected Reverend God Realm experts. At least, he would not die in the hands of a perfected Reverend God Realm expert. He believed that there were not many people like him in the divine world. People like him were as rare as phoenix feathers and water chestnuts. After some time, the two of them, who looked more like they were exchanging pointers, finally stopped. At this moment, the two of them did not know where they were, let alone where they were in the Sky Mountain range. Looking at the surrounding geography, Lin Rei smiled helplessly. Sigh, I didn't expect to leave the two of them behind. I hope they're fine. Are you kidding? Xia Feng did not give Lin Rei any face and retorted. They are middle-stage God Realm cultivators. If they can't even pass such a small test, they might as well die. Linley was speechless. He didn't expect the evil phoenix to say this. However, it made sense. If they couldn't even pass such a small test, then it could only mean that they weren't strong enough. There was nothing he could do. At this moment, the evil phoenix suggested, all right, go and get a demonic beast. Since they haven't come yet, let's eat and wait. All right. Linley immediately agreed, then disappeared. As for the demonic phoenix, as it watched Linley disappear, it sat down where it had been. It was unknown whether it was a coincidence or not, but at this moment, the scenery around them was very beautiful. Although it was night, the surroundings were bright as if it was daytime. Dong! A loud sound was heard, accompanied by dust. When the dust dissipated, a demonic beast that looked like an elephant but had fangs appeared. And beside the demonic beast, Lin Rei was there. He was looking at her with a smile. That cunning smile made Xia Feng feel a chill down her spine. She had a bad feeling in her heart. Look. I was the one who made these monstrous beasts, and in all this time, I've never eaten anything you made. Look. Linley rubbed his hands together, a chuckle on his face. Demonic Phoenix's face froze, and it stood there, stunned. When she regained her senses, Xia Feng looked at Lin Rei with disdain. It was as if she was saying, why is a man so calculative? Lin Rei chose to ignore Xia Feng's disdainful gaze. He turned around and did not look at her. Instead, he went to the stream and sat down cross-legged. In the face of Lin Rei's action, Xia Feng was helpless. In the end, she could only choose to compromise. Looking at the mountain-sized hand in front of her, Xia Feng smiled bitterly. Her fist turned into a palm, and then with a hand knife, she began to dissolve the mountain-sized hand. The speed was very fast. It was like moving clouds and flowing water. Lin Rei, who had been sitting in the stream but had been paying attention to Xia Feng with his divine sense, was shocked. Damn, so you know how to cook. At this moment, Lin Rei was not shocked by her cultivation, but by Xia Feng's technique of absorbing the amputation. This sort of technique caused even Linley to feel a bit envious. He could tell that there was something profound about this technique. Bang! 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 Under Xia Feng's special amputation technique, the giant demonic beast was easily disintegrated. Whoosh! Pang! Clatter! Clatter! The small stream in front of Linley suddenly began to surge with waves. The small stream, which had been so clear that the bottom of the stream could be seen, now slowly began to turn blood red, as though it was a river of blood. It made one's hair stand on end, and one's hair stand on end. Damn, what are you doing? At this time, because it happened so suddenly, Lin Rei did not have time to react. At this moment, Lin Rei's body was wet, and he was not lucky enough to escape the erosion of the stream. I didn't mean it. Xie Feng, who knew Lin Rei's temperament very well, had already thought of what Lin Rei wanted to say, so she had already prepared a response. At this moment, Lin Rei's words were abruptly choked back. He did not know what to say. As the saying goes, one does not hit a smiling person. Looking at Xie Feng's smiling and harmless face, he, who was originally full of anger, felt very weak like a deflated balloon. Alas! In the end, he had no choice but to leave the stream. After Xie Feng's fiddling, the stream, which was originally emitting a fragrance, was now filled with a pungent smell of blood. Humph, at least you know what's good for you. Seeing Lin Rei leave, Xie Feng snorted. Then, she used her spiritual qi to hold the demonic beast in the air. Boom! In an instant, the undying flame rushed out of Xie Feng's palm. As if it had a spirit, it directly surrounded the giant demonic beast and began to roast it from the outside to the inside. Not bad. TSK. At this time, Lin Rei, who had retreated to the side, saw Xie Feng's action and immediately felt relieved and went back to cultivate. Whoosh, whoosh, after an unknown period of time, only the smell of meat drifted in the air. At this time, two streamers cut across the sky and finally stopped in front of Xie Feng. The streamers dispersed, and a man and a woman appeared, their faces full of smiles. At this moment, the two of them were not strangers, but Chu Xi and Yun Kai. You're here. Seeing that it was the two of them, the evil phoenix greeted them indifferently. Then, it returned to focusing on roasting the meat. Senior Xie Feng. Looking at Xie Feng, the two of them respectfully greeted her and then walked toward Lin Rei's place. But not very quickly. The two of them tiptoed as if they were afraid of trampling the flowers under their feet and came to Lin Rei's front. Young master, we're here. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was cultivating, heard the call from the outside world and slowly woke up. Lin Rei opened his eyes and looked at the two of them. Then, he smiled. How was it? Was the journey smooth? Yes, it was okay. But we met a demonic beast that was blind and I killed it. I originally wanted to bring it back for roasting, but I didn't expect. Chu Xi said as she glanced at Xie Feng, who was roasting meat in the distance, and then stopped talking. It's okay. Take the extra as a treat. A treat? Hearing this, Chu Xi's eyes were full of doubts. Yes. In response to Chu Xi's doubts, Lin Rei raised his head and two golden rays instantly rushed out of his eyes. It was as if he could see through the ages and looked into the distance. Friend, you've been following us all the way. Isn't it time to come out? We have roasted meat, and you have wine. Wine with meat is perfect, isn't it? Chapter 753. At this moment, everyone understood what Lin Rei was saying and looked towards the direction he was looking at. At this moment, everyone stopped being relaxed and tensed up. They were on high alert. Sigh. Under everyone's gaze, a beautiful lady came out from the darkness. Her speed was not very fast. Looking at the beautiful lady, Chu Xi frowned and was shocked. Isn't this the lady boss of Storm House, a hierarch expert? At this moment, other than Lin Rei and Xie Feng, Chu Xi were extremely nervous. They were nothing in front of a hierarch. How did you find me? The jade-faced Rakshasa stared at Linli, a look of surprise on her face. She didn't understand. She felt as though she hadn't made any mistakes at all, and the difference in power between the two of them was simply too great. TSK. Hearing her question, Lin Rei chuckled and said, It's easy if you want to know. Bring me the best wine in Stormhouse and I'll tell you. Of course, you have no choice. As he spoke, a wave of killing intent surged out towards the jade-faced Rakshasa. At this moment, Linley was no longer as gentle as before. The current him was like the god of death descending upon the world. There seemed to be no life left in the surroundings. Because from the moment you started following us, your life no longer belongs to you. So, you have no choice. Oh. The jade-faced Rakshasa frowned and had a bad premonition. She had not had this feeling since she stepped into the Emperor God realm. She did not expect it to happen today. Moreover, it was on such a young man, whose cultivation was one level lower than hers. This made her very puzzled. Looking at her puzzled expression, Lin Ray smiled and pointed at her feet. He said confidently, "You can try. Let's see if your hierarch realm is stronger or if my hierarch realm killing formation is stronger. Of course, I am very confident in my killing formation. But if you don't believe me, I can be kind and demonstrate it to you. Of course, if that's the case, your life, I will." After saying that, Lin Ray shrugged indifferently. He looked very cold-blooded. "What, you?" When the jade-faced Rakshasa heard these words and combined them with Lin Ray's calmness and performance, he continuously released his divine sense to investigate the area beneath his feet. As the saying goes, it is better to believe than not. If it is true, then, he had heard of an honorable array master before. Moreover, there was an honorable array master in the god realm. Moreover, he was an old man. Even if a peak honorable realm cultivator entered the killing array, even if they did not die in the end, even if they managed to escape from the array, they would not be able to fight anymore. At that time, the only outcome would be death. Although she did not know if the venerable great array formation was real, but, ever since she came here, the palpitations in her heart had become more and more intense. She couldn't help but have a preconceived notion and believe that this matter was true. At this moment, under the investigation of her divine sense, she saw a very terrifying energy contained under her feet. Although she was now in a state of deep sleep, she could feel that if this energy was activated, she would undoubtedly die. Seeing this, the jade-faced Rakshasa could not help but look at Lin Ray in shock. Her expression was filled with shock and curiosity at the same time. She was shocked that she could meet such a young array master here. She was even more shocked that this young man could possess the strength of an honorable array formation at such a young age. She could not help but be curious. She was very curious about what kind of power could nurture him to such an extent. "How about it? Do you want to drink and eat meat and have a long talk, or do you want to break the array over there while we sit here and eat meat and watch?" At this moment, while the jade-faced Rakshasa was shocked and curious, Lin Ray's words entered her ears. Immediately, her heart trembled and she made her choice. "All right, I will provide the wine and you provide the meat." "Huh, great." Lin Ray seemed to have expected this result. Then, with a wave of his hand, the honorable array formation hidden under the jade-faced Rakshasa's feet instantly disappeared without a trace. The jade-faced Rakshasa, who had been sensing the array on the ground, immediately curled her lips into an enchanting smile when she sensed the array disappear. Then, she walked towards Xia Feng, who was barbecuing meat. Lin Ray also stopped his impulse to continue cultivating. Then, he brought the two of them over to Xia Feng. "You've come." At this moment, Xia Feng looked at the jade-faced Rakshasa with an enchanting smile and spoke gently. Hearing the evil phoenix's question, the jade-faced Rakshasa was stunned on the spot, looking confused. "Huh, she was the first to discover your existence. As for me, when I exited the gates of Levitating City, I suddenly sensed a pair of eyes staring at me from behind. That's why I paid attention to you." Linley, having arrived, spoke out. "What?" The jade-faced Rakshasa looked at Xia Feng in horror when she heard Lin Ray's words. Originally, she thought that Lin Ray was the only one who had discovered her. She did not expect that the woman who was barbecuing meat would be the first to discover her. How could she not be shocked? Especially when she realized that this meant that the woman in red's cultivation was probably already. The jade-faced Rakshasa did not dare to think further. Because if she thought further, she would be in the sage state. At this moment, the jade-faced Rakshasa's restless heart calmed down. Then, she sat on the rock obediently and did not dare to make any moves. There's no need to be so restrained. As long as you're not harmful to us. This sentence had a deep meaning, and it could be understood as two meanings. First, you can do whatever you want, and there's no need to be reserved. Second, if you dare to have any improper thoughts, then you'll be in so much pain that you'll wish you were dead. The jade-faced Rakshasa understood the underlying meaning. She nodded heavily and replied to Xia Feng respectfully, yes, yes, yes. Definitely not, definitely not. That's good. With that, Xia Feng placed the roasted beast meat in front of everyone. Then, she tore off a piece and handed it to the jade-faced Rakshasa. Come, have a taste of my cooking. Ah, thank you, senior. The jade-faced Rakshasa was so flattered that she hurriedly received it with both hands. She looked very respectful and did not dare to make any mistakes. Lin Rei and the other two smiled at this scene. They were full of admiration. After knowing that the jade-faced Rakshasa could not cause any trouble, she relaxed her vigilance. Then, she came to the roasted meat, tore off a piece, and began to chew on it. Chu Xi did not pay any attention to this. Since something had happened, the taller one would keep an eye on it. Come, as the boss of Stormhouse, I believe you should have a lot of good wine on you. The jade-faced Rakshasa smiled awkwardly and nodded. It's all right. Although it's not much, but, with that, a dozen jars of wine appeared on the empty ground in the blink of an eye. The fragrance of the wine permeated the air and refreshed the mind. Phew, good wine. Smelling the applause in the air, Lin Rei took a deep breath and exhaled. He could not help but praise. This wine is called the 100-fruit wine. It is brewed from 100 kinds of spirit fruits. Every drop is very precious. Moreover, the fruits used to brew the 100-fruit wine are priceless. They are very valuable. Gulp, gulp, just as the jade-faced Rakshasa was explaining the origin of the wine in front of her, she suddenly heard a strange sound. She turned her head and saw Lin Rei gulping down a jar of 100-fruit wine. He looked very forthright, but the jade-faced Rakshasa felt very pained when she saw this. This was the wine she treasured very much. Normally, she would not bear to drink it. But now, seeing someone gulp it down, how could she not feel pained? Thud. In less than a minute, Linley had drained the entire jug of wine in one gulp, then viciously smashed the jug onto the ground. Seeing Lin Rei's drinking speed, the jade-faced Rakshasa's mouth twitched. Her face was full of embarrassment. Thinking that the wine she had treasured for thousands of years was going to disappear like water, she could not help but want to slap herself. Awesome, phew, drinking wine and eating meat. At this moment, Lin Rei suddenly felt that his life was complete. If he could live like this forever, it would not be a bad thing. Everyone, eat. Seeing everyone's shocked gazes, Lin Rei called out to everyone and then continued with the second jar of wine. Just like that, jar after jar was drunk. In the blink of an eye, more than an hour had passed. Under the siege of everyone, the giant monster was left with a pile of bones. Phew, comfortable. He rubbed his stomach and raised his back, looking very satisfied. This caused the evil phoenix beside him to laugh. However, although everyone was eating and drinking, Lin Rei did not forget about the jade-faced Rakshasa. Now that they had eaten and drunk, it was time to settle the score. After Lin Rei's serious expression, everyone fell into silence. No one said anything. Except for the jade-faced Rakshasa herself, everyone's eyes were fixed on her. At this moment, looking at her, Lin Rei spoke. Speak. Why are you following us? Lin Rei's words were exactly what Xia Feng and the others were thinking. They were also very curious as to why the jade-faced Rakshasa was following them. Seeing everyone's gaze, the jade-faced Rakshasa trembled. She smiled bitterly and said, "Do you still remember that time at Stormhouse?" "Yes." What's wrong? Lin Ray nodded in response. When you first came, I felt that you were extraordinary. Although you are only a late god emperor, the spiritual energy in your body is dense. It is something I have never seen before. Moreover, I can vaguely feel a very mysterious and powerful aura from your body. I am very curious about this. The ancient corpse trove is about to open. I want to obtain an item from the ancient corpse trove. Furthermore, I unintentionally heard you all saying that you would be leaving first. Thus, I followed you all to take a look. I didn't expect. AI. Hee, you didn't expect me to know about arrays. Moreover, my attainments in arrays are so high. I even helped you suppress it, right? He said to her with an amused expression. Yes. This is what I didn't expect. Although I heard that you could break the seal outside the ancient corpse trove, I didn't expect your attainments in arrays to be so high. After hearing the truth, Lin Ray understood her motive. Alright, I don't intend to pursue this matter. Lin Ray said to the jade-faced Rakshasa. Although she had been tailing them, Linley decided not to pursue the matter, seeing that she didn't have any bad intentions, and seeing the wine she had just offered him. However, he was very curious about the thing that the jade-faced Rakshasa mentioned. He really couldn't figure out what it was that could make a hierarch cultivator yearn for it. Firstly, he saw the rationality in the jade-faced Rakshasa's eyes. He didn't believe that the jade-faced Rakshasa wanted to get the Corpse King pill. But other than the Corpse King pill, he couldn't think of anything else. When Lin Ray opened his mouth to ask what it was, the jade-faced Rakshasa seemed to understand Lin Ray's intention. She immediately stopped him and replied, I want a string of Buddha beads. It is a string of innate treasure that belonged to Saint Buddha Nan Wu. Innate treasure? You're saying that the ancient corpse trove has that thing? At this moment, it was Lin Ray's turn to be shocked. He knew very well about innate treasures. It was a Dharma artifact that evolved from heaven and earth at the beginning of the world. Its power was more than double that of an acquired treasure. However, Lin Ray couldn't figure out why no one else knew that there was an innate treasure in the ancient corpse trove. Everyone looked at the jade-faced Rakshasa in confusion. Even Xia Feng was the same. As a living being of the untainted land, she also knew how precious innate treasures were. Looking at everyone's confused eyes, the jade-faced Rakshasa didn't hide anything and told them everything she knew. It's like this. Back then, I found a map in the ancient corpse trove. There was information about the Buddha beads on the back of the map. Moreover, the location of the Buddha beads was clearly marked on the map, so you want to take it for yourself when the ancient corpse trove opens, right? At this moment, everyone would be fools if they still didn't understand. However, Lin Ray was also interested in the innate treasure, the Buddha beads. Although his weapon was a spear, who wouldn't want an innate treasure? The answer, of course, was no. It wasn't just Linley. Even the demonic phoenix felt a surge of compassion in her heart. After all, when she was sealed, all her Khanate cardinal treasures had been taken away by Haotian. At this moment, it could be said that she did not have any external support except for her own unprecedented cultivation. As a living being of the untainted land and a product of heaven and earth, she couldn't help but feel ashamed and humiliated. I want to work with you. Of course, other than the Buddha beads, you can ask for anything you want. When these words entered Linley's ears, they were filled with wild arrogance. However, Linley didn't dare to be interested in the jade-faced Rakshasa's conditions at all. What he was interested in right now, aside from the Corpse King pills, was a string of Buddhist prayer beads. Chapter 754. Xia Feng's eyes flashed with amusement as she looked at the jade-faced Rakshasa. However, she didn't notice it at all. Cooperating with you? You're overthinking it. It would be a waste not to take such a good thing. Innate treasure, this is, of course, Evil Phoenix naturally couldn't say this out loud. Although he said this in his heart, he didn't show it on his face. Forget it, we don't know if that thing is real or not. Moreover, we are going in for the Corpse King pill. We don't want to consider anything else, so, after speaking, Demonic Phoenix shrugged, then turned to look at Linley, as though he wanted to know what Linley was thinking. Damn, this guy. Lin Ray's face darkened as he watched Xia Feng kick the balloon jade-faced Azura over. At this moment, Lin Ray cursed Xia Feng no less than 100 times in his mind. Yes, this time we're going to find the Corpse King pill, so, sorry. Of course, despite Xia Feng's words, after spending so much time with her, he already knew what Xia Feng was thinking. It would be strange if Xia Feng wasn't tempted by a innate treasure, such a top-grade artifact. A innate treasure. It wasn't something any top-grade artifact could compare to. Moreover, the Corpse King, the master of the ancient corpse vault, had ruled it for so long. Perhaps the Corpse King had already found the Buddhist beads. As for Chu Xiai and Chu Li, they didn't know much about connate treasures, so they were confused. Fine. The jade-faced Rakshasa was disappointed at Lin Ray's refusal. She thought they would agree to her request because of her family's wealth. But now, she was very surprised. It wasn't that her things weren't tempting enough, but that she was facing Lin Ray. Just the things in the storage rings of the people he killed before were comparable to what the jade-faced Rakshasa had. If he added his own, even the jade-faced Azura's wealth wouldn't be 1/10 of what Lin Ray had. Of course, her biggest weakness was that she didn't know Lin Ray. If she did, she wouldn't have made such a request. Furthermore, even if she used her own cultivation technique, or herself, Linley would still be indifferent to it. At home, he had 2 beautiful wives who were as beautiful as flowers and as beautiful as jade. How could he take a fancy to the jade-faced Rakshasa? Moreover, there was no way that Lin Ray would be interested in her cultivation method. After all, there was a sutra pavilion in the system. You could have any cultivation method you wanted in there. Moreover, all of them were better than hers. With such conditions, why would Linley want to work with her? Of course, unless that person was a fool. Seeing the jade-faced Azura's melancholy, Lin Ray chuckled. He stood up and said to Xia Feng and the others, "All right, since we're done eating, let's go for a walk." Are you sure now? Hearing Linley's words, Evil Phoenix was startled and looked at him suspiciously. He then pointed at his junior apprentice brother in the night sky. Yes. Young master, it's night now. That's when the monsters are active. If we go now, won't we? Ai. When these words entered Linley's ears, a look of speechlessness appeared on his face. As a middle-stage god emperor, he actually dared to utter such words. In truth, at this moment, Lin Ray really wanted to slap the back of Chu Xi's head. Alright, stop talking nonsense. It's because it's night time that I'm asking you to go together. Saying that, Lin Ray pointed at Chu Xi's bulging stomach and said with disdain, "As a cultivator, take a look at yourself. You don't even have the demeanor of an expert. Furthermore, isn't that how the saying goes? Move a bit after a meal and you'll live to 99. Even though your life force is vigorous, but, Aya." At this moment, Lin Ray, who was listening by the side, could not take it anymore and said, "I say, can you guys do it or not? Are you going or not?" Saying that, Xia Feng did not rush them. She chose a direction and walked over. Seeing this scene, jade-faced Azura, who had been observing by the side, felt awkward. He had never seen such a situation before and found it funny. Lin Ray was startled by Xia Feng. He immediately chased after her. Since Lin Ray already had one, the other 2 naturally would not stay here. They immediately followed. Should I follow or not? Staying where he was and looking at the empty space, the jade-faced Rakshasa felt a trace of loneliness. At this moment, he could not help but recall the scene where Lin Ray and the others were talking. Immediately, a smile appeared on his face. Hee, let's follow them. It's quite fun to be with them. Saying that, he looked in the direction Lin Ray and the others went. He circulated his cultivation and chased after them. With his speed, he covered 1,000 meters with each step. Awoo, The wind at night was slightly chilly. The forest that should have been dark was not dark at all. As the saying went, the dark and windy night could kill people. The night in the Sky Mountain Range was soul-stirring and very shocking. At this moment, Lin Rei and the others had already arrived at the central area of the mountain range. Here, powerful demonic beasts were everywhere, especially those in the Emperor God realm. They were endless. Linley's group made their way through the mountain forest, their faces calm and even a hint of contentment. However, it was different for Chu Ci and the other one. Both of them were tense and ready to fight. It was as if they were ready to fight at any moment. Observing their expressions, Lin Rei chuckled and said, "In a while, I'll find some demonic beasts for you. You have to do your best and see who can kill the demonic beasts first." "Oh, right." Saying that, he seemed to have thought of something and continued, "Whoever kills the demonic beasts I choose for you first will be taught the physique refinement technique. This way, your physical body will be able to transform further and achieve an immortal body. Moreover, after the refinement, you will be able to kill an emperor god with one punch. Without using your cultivation, you will be able to fight an emperor god with just your physical body. Your strength will be unstoppable." Saying that, Lin Rei's face was full of pride. He was a physique refinement cultivator and could fight an emperor god with just one punch. If he fully unleashed his physical body, perhaps even a mid or late ultimate god cultivator would be a match for him. "Thank you, young master. We will do our best." At this moment, both of their faces were filled with excitement. Of course, they wanted such a cultivation technique. Moreover, the physical body had always been a taboo for cultivators. If they could cultivate both the inner and outer body, then, the result could be imagined. Who would be a match for them in the same realm? Of course, although they were excited when they heard about the reward, they were still very afraid of the demonic beasts they were about to face. Moreover, they knew Lin Rei's character. If he were to choose, he would choose at least a great perfection god emperor or an early ultimate god. Thinking of that, both of them wanted to reject the reward. However, the thought of getting a physique refinement technique was too tempting. Therefore, the temptation shattered their thoughts of retreating. "Good, you're worth teaching." Seeing the resolute look in their eyes, Linley knew that they had truly made up their minds to challenge him. "Get ready, the battle is about to begin." Yes, hearing this, the two of them did not dare to slack off. They immediately sat down cross-legged and began to circulate their cultivation techniques. They wanted to replenish all the spiritual energy they had just consumed. Looking at their actions, Lin Rei chuckled. The corner of his lips curled into a sly smile. Then, he took out a 9 revolution mixed essence pill and passed it to Xie Feng. "Help me catch 2 great perfection god emperor demonic beasts for them to train. Since they've come to the demonic beast territory, don't you think it's a pity if they don't train their willpower and raise their cultivation?" Hearing this, Xie Feng was stunned. She thought that Chu Feng was shameless. However, for the sake of the 9 revolution mixed essence pill, Xie Feng readily agreed. "Wait." After saying that, he disappeared from where he was. At this moment, only the two of them, Chu Feng and jade-faced Rakshasa, were left. "Your method is better. It's very suitable for training the Sect's disciples." Jade-faced Azura praised. Looking at her, Lin Rei chuckled. Then, he didn't say anything. Facing her, Lin Rei didn't have the urge to speak at all. He had nothing to say. The situation was very awkward. Not knowing what to do, he took out an immortal fruit from his storage ring and swallowed it. Crunch, the sweet fruit juice was very delicious. If this was the immortal world, if someone saw Lin Rei eating this fruit, they would definitely want to kill him or trick him to come here. Ding dong, The sudden sound of the system notification surprised Lin Rei. He hadn't heard this sound in a long time. Every time, it was because there was a mission, and it was dangerous. Now that it was here, he couldn't help but be vigilant. On the other side, she felt Lin Rei's immortal realm tense up. She thought that an expert had arrived. Then, she released her divine sense and began to investigate. However, after scanning with her divine sense, she didn't find anything out of the ordinary. However, she was puzzled by Lin Rei's vigilance. In the end, she had no choice but to remain silent. At this moment, hearing the notification, Lin Rei's divine sense moved and he instantly entered the system. Looking at the clear sky, Lin Rei asked, "What's the matter?" "Actually, it's nothing. I just checked just now and found that there is a very rare demon beast living in the Sky Mountain range. This demon beast is the first living thing in the universe." "What? The first living thing in the universe is here?" Lin Rei was shocked. He opened his mouth wide enough to fit a fist. It was very funny. Chapter 755. That's right. Looking at Lin Rei's comical expression, the emotionless system chuckled. But at this moment, Linley didn't care about whether he laughed or not. Instead, he focused all of his attention on the first batch of living beings. What is it? The 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig is one of the most miraculous races in the world. Only one will be born in the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig race every millions of years. Actually, I wasn't sure at first. However, the system has detected signs of activity from the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig tribe. So, do you want it or not? At this moment, the system directly placed the choices in front of Linley, allowing him to choose. It was exactly the same as the one it had given him before. To be honest, when the system mentioned the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig, Lin Rei's heart skipped a beat. Although he didn't know what it could be used for, it was the first batch of living creatures in the world. Just like Xia Feng and Pai Xiu, they were born from the world and fused with the Great Tao. Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. While Linley was silent, the system seemed to have thought of something and added, the uniqueness of the 8 Treasures Exquisite Boar clan is that they are immune to all spells and are immune to all spells. Furthermore, their physical bodies are extremely powerful. Of course, that's not the most important thing. The 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig tribe is the most powerful and most sought-after ability. They are born with an affinity for heaven and earth treasures. To put it bluntly, the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig tribe is also known as the treasure-hunting pig tribe. They specialize in finding extremely precious heaven and earth treasures. They don't care about ordinary heaven and earth treasures. Previously, Lin Rei was tempted. However, after hearing the system's explanation, he became impulsive. At this moment, he wanted nothing more than to flip the entire soaring Sky Mountain range upside down and capture the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig. Then, he would get him to help him search for godly medicines, godly souls, and various top-notch treasures. Although he didn't need some of them, he still had a sect to support. Lin Rei's catchphrase was, "I'm so poor." How about it? You have 2 choices. Do you want to capture it or not? Of course, I have to make it clear to you first. Lin Rei, who was originally very excited and impulsive, felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head when he heard the system's prerequisites. His excitement and impulsiveness were instantly washed away. As far as he could remember, as long as the system said something like, "but," it would not end well. If he didn't peel off a layer of his skin, then, the system wouldn't give up. When he heard the word prerequisites, Lin Rei was stunned. The system chuckled at Lin Rei's expression and didn't think too much about it. Then, it explained, the prerequisites for your choice are that the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig is immune to magic and is eroded by magic. Moreover, their race's physical body is the strongest of the strongest, the king of kings. If you want to capture it, you have to think of a way. Otherwise, you will end up with nothing. At this point, Linley was in a difficult position. Immunity to magic was already difficult enough for him. Next, it was the king of the physical body. Wasn't this telling him that unless a miracle happened, he wouldn't be able to capture the 8 Treasures Exquisite Pig? At this moment, Lin Rei's interest was piqued. Now, he could only wait and couldn't hang on to the beast. This feeling made Lin Rei want to die. Alright, you can leave now. This is what I called you for. When Lin Ray heard the system's words, he wanted to say something, but before he could open his mouth, he found himself out of the system's space and returned to his body. Sigh. Sighing, Lin Ray's face was filled with melancholy. He didn't know how to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig since he couldn't use magic or his physical body. To Linley, this was the most difficult problem of all. Bam! Bam! A sudden loud noise pulled Lin Ray back to reality from his silence. Raising his head, he saw that not far away, 2 demonic beasts the size of small mountains had appeared. In the air, the evil phoenix was controlling them with spells. Seeing this, Linley couldn't help but laugh. Finally, there was something he wanted to do. Lin Ray turned around and said to the 2 who were recovering from their exhaustion. Alright, wake up. Your opponents are here. It's up to you now. Phew, hearing Linley's call, the 2 of them woke up from their meditations. Raising their heads, they saw the 2 enormous beasts, and the expressions on their faces instantly turned solemn. Looking at their solemn expressions, Lin Ray smiled. 2 grand perfection God Emperor demonic beasts. Although they aren't very strong, they're already your limit. I believe you'll be able to kill them. Oh, right. You can use all your strength, including talismans, arrays, pills, deity weapons, and all kinds of external strength. As long as one of you can kill them first, the body refinement technique will be yours. The moment he said this, the 2 became even more solemn. They were clear of their cultivation. And now, they were facing grand perfection God Emperor demonic beasts. This made them feel as if they were courting death. So, at this moment, the 2 didn't speak anymore. They didn't retreat. 2 figures flashed past each other. Their speed was so fast that Lin Ray couldn't help but nod in admiration. Alright, I'll leave them to you. At this moment, Xia Feng, who was controlling the 2 demonic beasts, saw the 2 of them. She immediately retracted her aura and cultivation and said to them. After that, her body flashed and disappeared. When she reappeared, she was already beside Lin Ray. Do you really think they can kill these 2 grand perfection God Emperor demonic beasts? You should know that they aren't you or me. They are just ordinary alchemy disciples. Although you've trained them for a period of time, they... Xia Feng looked at Lin Ray with concern and said. Oh. Did I hear wrongly? The incomparably powerful Lord Xia Feng actually knows how to care for others? Lin Ray teased. You, humph. Seeing Lin Ray teasing her, Xia Feng rolled her eyes at him. She then snorted and didn't speak anymore. Hee hee. After seeing Xia Feng's silence, Lin Ray turned to the 2 of them. At this moment, Lin Ray's eyes were filled with worry. He was also very worried about the 2 of them. However, if he didn't use this method, it would be impossible for them to raise their cultivation quickly. Everything he did was for the good of the 2 of them. Even if his son was here, he would do the same. Peng, peng, at this moment, the sky trembled and rumbled. The light of battle flashed in the surrounding 50 kilometers. Seems like they are fine. Linley, who had been observing the battle between Chu Xi and Chu Li, saw them executing all sorts of combat techniques and spells with ease in front of the grand perfection God Emperor demonic beasts. There was no danger to their lives at all. At this moment, Linley's face relaxed. His anxious heart finally calmed down. He wasn't worried about the 2 of them, but the matter of the 8 treasures exquisite pig came. Looking at Xia Feng, Lin Ray raised his eyebrows. His eyes were filled with surprise. Lady Xia Feng, hearing this strange cry, Xia Feng was speechless, but she still turned to Lin Ray and asked, "What's the matter?" Hee hee. With a serious expression, he began to talk about the 8 treasures exquisite pig. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't hide anything from the jade-faced Rakshasa. He generously allowed her to hear everything clearly. A few minutes later, what? 8 treasures exquisite pig? Xia Feng was shocked. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. That's impossible. How could such a thing still be alive? I remember that they were all wiped out during the first Great Tribulation. No, there are indeed traces of the 8 treasures exquisite pig here. The information is accurate, there is no luck. He believed in the system. He believed that the 8 treasures exquisite pig was here. Are you sure? Looking at how confident Lin Rei was, Xia Feng couldn't help but confirm. This matter had to be clarified because it was very important. One had to know that the benefits of obtaining the 8 treasures exquisite pig were unimaginable. With the 8 treasures exquisite pig, it would only be a matter of time before they established a sect in the Holy World. As for cultivation resources, it would be a piece of cake for those who possessed the 8 treasures exquisite pig. Yes, I'm sure and certain that the 8 treasures exquisite pig is here. But here comes the problem. How do we capture it? It is immune to magic and has a dominating physical body. Yes. The 8 treasures exquisite pig was a terrifying race in the prehistoric era. If it weren't for the first Great Tribulation, perhaps they would have become the #1 living creature. At this moment, Xia Feng wasn't exaggerating at all. If they couldn't become the #1 living creature by relying on their race's insane constitution and abilities, then it would be an irritable heavenly item. The heavens must be blind. While the two of them were thinking about how to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig, Xia Feng's eyes glinted as though she had thought of something. Why? You've thought of something? Lin Rei asked anxiously. Heh. Looking at Lin Rei's anxious expression, Xia Feng burst into laughter. Lin Rei was speechless at Xia Feng. But in order to obtain the 8 treasures exquisite pig, Lin Rei hid his expression. Hurry up and say it, Madam Xia Feng. Holy shit. Seeing Linley's despicable appearance, the demonic phoenix was stunned and astonished. This was the first time she had seen this side of Linley after such a long time. Alright then. Actually, capturing the 8 treasures exquisite pig isn't that troublesome. Oh. Chapter 756. Lin Rei perked up when he heard that there was a way to capture the 8 treasures exquisite pig. Quick, tell me about it. Actually, the method is very simple. The 8 treasures exquisite pig clan is famous for finding treasures. Therefore, if you want to capture them, you have to use treasures to entice them. The evil phoenix replied. Then, he slowly explained the method he had thought of. Actually, the method is very simple. Use treasures. Although this idea was ingenious, he didn't have many treasures. How would he know what grade of treasure the 8 treasures exquisite pig liked? Moreover, they didn't even know what grade they were at now. Seeing Linley's hesitation, the demonic phoenix, who understood him very well, immediately guessed what he was thinking. She couldn't help but feel disdain towards him. Tisk, tsk. How can a sect leader be so stingy? I really despise you. With that, evil phoenix couldn't help but roll his eyes at Yi Zichen. Lin Rei smiled awkwardly when he saw the look in Xia Feng's eyes. Then, he fell into deep thought. He was thinking about what he could use to lure the 8 treasures exquisite pig out. After all, it wouldn't do if the treasure was good or bad. He had to find something that was similar and wouldn't feel the pinch even if he lost it. PFFF, sudden laughter rang in Lin Rei's mind. Lin Rei didn't need to guess to know who it was. Hearing the laughter, Lin Rei's face darkened. What are you laughing at? The person who laughed was none other than the system that was embedded in him. Upon hearing Lin Rei's question, the system replied, What do you want me to say? Isn't it easy to find a treasure that is similar? Oh. Lin Rei raised his brows. Since the system had said so, he would stick to it. He knew what treasure was most suitable. Thinking of this, Lin Rei asked shamelessly, Hurry up and tell me what I have that the 8 treasures exquisite pig is interested in. Think about it. Back then, when we were in the Divine Realm's Divine Sect, didn't we obtain a baleful blood pearl from that pool? Do you still remember? Blood Fiend Pearl? Listening to the system's words, Lin Ray sank into his memories. After all, so many years had passed and he had obtained many things over the years. How could he still remember so clearly? After a few minutes, Lin Ray's eyes lit up and a smile appeared on his face. Yeah. He remembered that he had obtained a pearl from a pond when he was fleeing into a secret realm. He had originally planned to refine a top-grade Blood Fiend divine artifact, but later, too many things had happened, and the system had issued many missions, so he had forgotten about it. Now that he thought about it, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. That thing was really a treasure, especially the baleful blood energy on it. Alright, you picked it up anyway. Besides, it's useless to you. It doesn't matter whether you use it or not. Rather than leaving it there, why not exchange it for a pig that can search for treasures? This kind of business, it's worth it. That's true. At this moment, Lin Ray couldn't help but be a little impressed. You actually helped him remember something that even he had forgotten. After saying that, he thought about the place where he had placed the Blood Fiend Pearl. After thinking about it, he took it out from his storage ring. Boom! Suddenly, a blood-red bead with a faint smell of blood appeared in his empty hand. The baleful blood energy on it fluctuated. The moment the pearl appeared, a terrifying baleful blood energy soared into the sky, shaking the 9 heavens and giving people a soul-stirring feeling. Even Xia Feng and the jade-faced Rakshasa couldn't help but be shocked when they felt the sudden appearance of the baleful blood energy. The Blood Fiend Pearl was formed by the condensation of pure baleful blood energy. Moreover, it was a top-grade tool for refining top-grade divine artifacts, so its power could be imagined. At this moment, Xia Feng's shocked gaze fell on the pearl in Lin Ray's hand, and her face turned ugly. Boy, how did you get such an evil thing? Yeah. This thing is formed by the condensation of pure baleful blood energy. It can only be formed by killing a lot of people. Don't tell me you. WH, what are you thinking about? Looking at their strange gazes, Lin Ray hurriedly interrupted them and explained. After all, no one wanted to be labeled as a demon who killed people like scything flax. It's like this. I got this Blood Fiend Pearl from a pool. You don't say. The bottom of the pool was filled with white bones, and the number was shocking. Even I couldn't help but feel numb when I saw it. Let me tell you, those two at that time were simply frightening. On this point, Linley wasn't trying to scare people at all. When he had first seen the white bones at the bottom of the lake, his entire body had been frozen in place, and he had been extremely shocked. After hearing Lin Ray's explanation, the two women's expressions became much better. With their powerful cultivation, they could already see the clues of the pearl, which was why the incident just now happened. Looking at their relaxed expressions, Lin Ray smiled in his heart. Then, he said to Xia Feng, tell me. Is this thing of mine okay? This thing? Xia Feng pointed at the Blood Fiend Pearl and asked hesitantly. Yes, that's it. Nothing else. I'm very poor. It's not like you don't know. With that, Lin Ray grabbed his sleeve and pretended to wipe his tears, looking very pitiful. The current Lin Ray was completely different from before. However, she liked the current Lin Ray very much. Enough. With that, Xia Feng took the Blood Fiend Pearl from Lin Ray's hand and placed it in front of her eyes. Although this thing is evil, I have to say that it is indeed a treasure. Nonsense. Lin Ray rolled his eyes at her. This thing is good stuff. I originally planned to refine a supreme-grade divine artifact or elixir. Unfortunately, for the 8 treasures exquisite pig, I can only reluctantly give it up. With that, Lin Ray clutched his chest and looked as if his heart was being torn apart. It looked very funny. TSK. Who would believe that? Lin Ray's words could only fool a 3-year-old child. After working with him for so long, Xia Feng knew very well what he had. Just now, Any item he took out was enough to make the 7 sects fight endlessly for it. They could even go to war and fight to the death. Therefore, when Lin Rei said that he was very poor, Xia Feng only had 2 words in her heart to express it. Haha. Believe it or not, it's up to you. After being seen through by Xia Feng, Lin Rei quickly turned his face away and stopped talking. Bang, oh woo, just as the 2 of them were silent, on the other side, the test between Chu Xi and Yun Kai came to an end. The miserable roar attracted the attention of Lin Rei, Xia Feng, and jade-faced Rakshasa. At this moment, the 3 of them turned around and looked at the battle between Chu Xi and Yun Kai in the distance. At Chu Xi's side. At this moment, Chu Xi was resolute. She used her water cloud sword technique to the extreme. The sword aura that filled the sky were like thousands of swimming dragons as they swam around the huge bodies of the monstrous beasts. Wherever the sword aura passed, the monstrous beasts would suffer the consequences of being cut open. Fresh blood flowed out from the wounds like a small stream. The scene was very bloody. However, the blood of a grand perfection god emperor monster was a great nourishment. Even the trees were an exception. The blood of the monster splattered on the trees. It could be seen that the trees were rapidly absorbing the blood. Regarding this, Linley was certain that before long, they would all develop intelligence and become demonic beasts. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei revealed a smile. His eyes were filled with joy and admiration. He wasn't the only one. Even the evil phoenix and the jade-faced Rakshasa felt the same. One had to know that cultivators who could challenge cultivators above their level were the elites of their sections. Moreover, the 2 of them were fighting against demonic beasts. This made them even more powerful. Ordinary Grand Perfection God Emperor monsters, even Grand Perfection God Emperor cultivators, would not dare to provoke such a powerful monster. Of course, it would be easier if there were 2 or 3 of them. Looking at the other side, Yun Kai's results were even more outstanding. After all, during this period of time, Linley had been paying close attention to her cultivation and battle prowess. As for Chu Xi, Linley had asked him to concoct pills. Thus, prior to this, he had already considered who would emerge victorious. Looks like there's no suspense on Yun Kai's side. The outcome will be revealed soon. That's right. The one called Yun Kai has a strong cultivation base and exquisite battle techniques. Moreover, she has a lot of battle experience. What's even more commendable is her pure cultivation base. Her spiritual energy is very pure. If it wasn't for that, I'm afraid, listening to their analysis, Lin Rei chuckled. His face revealed a proud expression. Nonsense. Don't you know who taught her? If she was still weak, I would have jumped into the river to commit suicide. Lin Rei curled his lips. He could not help but underestimate her. Pang, suddenly, a loud sound rang out. Just as everyone had expected, there was movement on Yun Kai's side. She was currently standing in the air, completely unscathed. Although her face was pale and her clothes were a bit tattered, they were only minor injuries. She had overexerted herself, as well as the consequences of extreme stress. At this moment, in front of Yun Kai, dust was flying everywhere. Countless trees had been crushed by the monster's enormous body. As the dust settled, a huge demonic beast could be seen lying on the ground. Its entire body was riddled with holes, dripping with blood, and even its bones were exposed. It was a horrible sight to behold. Its entire body was covered with sword marks, fist marks, palm marks, and brush marks. Seeing this scene, Lin Rei was stunned and his hair stood on end. He was very glad that his wife was not such a violent person. Otherwise, he would have been miserable. Now that the result is out, there's no need to keep this one alive. With a smile, Lin Rei looked at Chu Xi, who was still bitterly fighting. His figure instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already beside Chu Xi, who had been thrown into the battle. His aura was weak, and his fighting spirit was soaring to the heavens. His body was covered in wounds, and his clothes were torn and tattered by the demonic beasts. Looking at him now, Linley felt the same way. After all, he was just an alchemist, and he hadn't done anything else during this period of time. Looking at him, Lin Ray said, "All right, you can go down first. When you cultivate your Dan stage to the upper class of the Danzong sect, I will teach you an extremely powerful battle technique, Martial God's Test." With that, Lin Ray used his cultivation. Spiritual energy broke out of his body and turned into a giant hand. It gently grabbed Chu Ci, refined him, and put him aside. Staring at the monster, he murmured, "Watch carefully. This is the battle technique I will teach you in the future, Martial God's Test." With that, a long spear with a heaven-piercing pressure appeared. The spear was completely black. On the shaft, 9 dragons were engraved. It looked very cool. At this moment, Lin Ray gave off the feeling of a war god descending. It was a feeling of a sovereign descending upon the world. This caused Chu Ci to be stunned. "Old friend, I haven't seen you in a long time. Today, I will let you see some blood." Caressing the primal chaos dragon spear, Lin Ray said gently. In the next second, the originally gentle face of Lin Ray immediately turned as cold as frost. He gave off a feeling that anyone who dared to approach within a radius of 300 meters would die. Looking at the monster, Lin Ray shouted to Chu Ci behind him, "Watch carefully. This is the Martial God's Test." With that, Lin Ray's spear was placed in front of his chest. His late-stage God Emperor cultivation was pushed to the limit. Terrifying ripples of spiritual energy rushed out from his body. Martial God's Test, first style absolute kill. The spear was thrown out. Like a long dragon, it rushed in front of the monster in an instant. The momentum of the spear was enough to cause people to be stunned. However, an even more terrifying event occurred. The space around the demon beast started to warp when he utilized the first martial god test. In the end, due to the warping of space, the demon beast's body started to be torn apart bit by bit. The profundity of the martial god's test lay in the word space. Rather than saying that it was a battle technique, it would be better to say that it was a disguised form of space magic. It was just that it was revealed through spear techniques. The space became more and more distorted. After the monster's body was torn apart by the distortion of space, Lin Ray withdrew his cultivation and placed the spear on his back. Dong! With a loud sound, the martial god's test disappeared. The monster that was torn apart fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. Letting out a long sigh, he turned around and looked at Chu Ci, who was staring at him with wide eyes. A hint of a smile appeared on Linley's face, and he said, "What do you think? How was my tactic?" That was simply too cool, too awesome, too cool." Hearing Linley's question, Chu Ci hurriedly came back to her senses, and her face was full of excitement as she spoke. At this moment, he wished he could become a high-grade Grandmaster Alchemist. That way, he would be able to directly practice such a powerful combat technique. If that's the case, then cultivate well in the future. Redouble your efforts in cultivating. As long as you become a high-level Grandmaster Alchemist, I will impart the Martial God Test to you and refine an acquired supreme treasure for you. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.